but if you could vote, that would be great. We need to have that quorum as well, which is 50% plus one of parliamentarians. Or phone your friends if you have not seen them here. Ask them if they can vote. That'd be very helpful. Okay. To viewers around the world, apologies. I have been told there was a problem with the live stream around the world. It was simply a technical computer problem. That has now been fixed. So thank you for coming back. And apologies to all of you if you missed some of the report by John. It will be available. It's all recorded, and the entire session is available for review and sharing. Feel free to share this with anybody. And once again, if you know any parliamentarians who you have not seen today, who could be involved or who can vote, please get them to do that. Okay, thanks. Let's get to the main thing for today. And I'll remind you again in just under an hour about voting. But it's reports on the implementation of work plans of parliamentary committees. This is the, I'll speak to, I'll get Sabahattin in just a minute. This is absolutely the backbone of the operation of Parliament. The committees working with government ministers, that's where the energy is, that's where the progress happens. And it's very good that we've got a good relationship with the government, especially with Salbos now. And I hope you also find it acceptable that we continue building the relationship between the ministers and the chairs of the committees. In a moment, I'll ask the following to do their presentations. Luca Srisavaldo for Science, followed by Sarah Clark for Finance, and Teresa Jones for Citizenship. And Ferdinand, we'll do them four at a time. Ferdinand for Foreign Affairs. Before we do, Benedetto, you wanted to say something. Can't hear you at the moment. Is that my end or is it? Might be my end. I want the slightly problem connection. Can you hear Benedetto? Can anyone hear Benedetto? Now we can, yes.
No, I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. It was Sabahattin who raised his. My apologies. Sabahattin who raised his hand. But
no problem. No problem.
Go ahead.
No problem.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Let's continue then. So let's start with Luca, if Luca's here. Right. Ariadne, are you doing it? Great.
Yes.
Okay. Over to Ariadne on behalf of Luca.
I'm here.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Excellent. So it'll be you.
Do you hear
Sarah.
me well?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. I share my screen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I lost it.
It's okay.
Wait, please.
No problem.
Something happens
I'm not
here.
sure Sarah is here, but if she is, then if she's not, I can give a brief summary. Teresa and Ferda. Now, Ferda said she wouldn't be able to attend. She is here, but given the troubles she has had recently, I completely understand if she does not feel like presenting today.
I'm fine. Okay, I'm
Great.
here.
Yeah, we can see it. Over to you.
Muy bien. Bien, voy a hablar en español porque ustedes lo pueden
I'm going
leer.
to speak in Spanish because you guys can read it in English. I'm going to do the same method that I've been doing with Luca, respecting the tree. And in this occasion, I've added this word, polymath approach, because the science committee is like a tree that looks so old at all the flowers from above. And and what is the opportunity to be reflected within the other trees is the idea I chose to do it, and you guys thought it was a good idea. I think it's a very important part of that our head of the nation put as a pillar to be diverse with the people in culture and with the registry of owning our work as the resources in Asgardia. In our conversation with Dr. Edelberg, he knows that it is really important to help with our finances. The excitement exists in the moment that we are collaborating with that button to be able to collect money for the investigation. It's not going to be very fast. It's going to take decades. And we have to be conscious because sometimes our Minister of Finance is going to say yes. And what we have collected for the investigation on research for the baby born in space, and when everybody gets a document of what has happened during this research, because at the end, every baby born in space, they will have a registry, and the registry is to be valued as an Asgardian. Maybe it's going to be something from the Chinese space. And at the end, we need to think of how to continue with these types of actions, and the astronauts that are the people able to navigate space. And this is something that our head of nation has done. They're trying to bring couples that are married and that could be formed part of the structure that is being created, and to be able to find a possibility of having that baby born in space and that baby being an Asgardian. And this is something that has been created from our Committee of Science, that everything has to be registered. When somebody goes to the doctor, they do a registry of what they all need. And the moment that we say yes, the baby that's born in space, that person is registered to Asgardia, and that's why we need to have a registry. Maybe the Citizenship Committee, it will be the one taking that registry, and there's going to be a group collaborating in that. It doesn't depend on us, but like a suggestion for the group that's going to be implementing all of this, maybe a bank for sperm and eggs. And it's not only for the economic registry, but there will be a moment where we would say what egg was the one that was that became the baby, help create the creation of the baby in space. I know that we should not be using AI, but I think it was really interesting to do this with the AI and in this aspect to just like a graphic to show how to achieve these situations that can help us. And probably in Antarctica, we can flourish, have this scientific process flourished and the processes of sharing information with the cooperation, international cooperation, as we have mentioned before. And they're talking about climate processes and environment. With the genetic research, the sperm and egg bank, the data security that would show that I am Asgardian and my sperm is going to be used for the sperm of the investigation, for the research. And they know that those are going to be frozen, but I'm not sure how effective, how long it's going to be the effectiveness. On the other side, the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure, what we could do in Antarctica, maybe a data center and on the ice, and many companies have been doing it, Finland and other parts. Maybe they are saying, well, we don't have our machinery heating up. We need cybersecurity is going to be presented easier because the data can be conserved with in a better way, and this could happen. There's thousands of euros that needs to be used on this. The private meeting, one of our colleagues was talking about this because it would be great to have our own space for that data and not having to rent it from somebody else or have it attached to some other company. If that's something that we could do ourselves, is just a suggestion. And this is an idea, and I would like to say it. With the babies in incubators and the registry on of the parents that are involved in this development, human development. And there are several committees, and that's why the tree is talking about this approach. These are activities that we're mentioning already within the proposal of the AAA. What can we do? Why Antarctica? Because that is a place that we can say we can consolidate something. Can you give me permission to use this land, this nation? And yes, there are places that have many regulations, but yes, certainly there are spaces that people don't feel like the Ministry of Foreign Relations, that sometimes we see the gates be able to enter a place, but people would be thinking, well, I would love to go to a place where I can be accepted. Instead of going to a place that has a lot of ice. I thank Benedetto because he did this rubric square with all this data, and I thank him a lot because he put his hand in this document that I put there for the suggestions of from everybody else. And finally, I would just think that to be conscious of the analysis that we have mentioned before, that would allow us to go to a new paradigm. Not everything is written in ice. There are many things that are changing, and to the great what things are, as was mentioned a few minutes ago, that the U.S. is talking about the UFOs and show what we have, show what we don't have, maybe, and let's see if your secrets are solid, or have a solid base.
Y nuestras posibilidades
Possibilities
están repartidas en todo el
are
mundo.
shared
Siento que eso, en
and
lugar de
around
ser
the world,
freno,
and I think
viene
it,
siendo una,
instead of saying being
punto a nuestro
something
favor.
stopping us, it's
Porque
something
podríamos
that is in
vincularnos
our
con
favor,
personas de muchas partes
because
del
we
mundo.
could be
Importantes,
linking ourselves
y
with
cuando esa
people
persona
around the
llega a
world,
nosotros, o ese grupo
and
de
when
personas,
that person or
nosotros
that
tengamos
group
la
of people
posibilidad de
come to us, we
ofrecer un
would have that
servicio,
possibility
de
of
ofrecer
offering a
una
service,
información
offering
compartir
that
con
information
ellos. Y creo
that we can share with them.
Dentro de lo que se está haciendo,
And within
ese logro
everything
es un
we've
hecho.
been
Así
doing,
que en
that
nombre de
would
Luca, que me
be
dijo, ponle
made
abono al
achievement.
árbol, Ariadne. Yo tengo que
So,
viajar, me apena no poder estar
to
presente, pero sé que
talking
tú,
about
como
Luca, who
vicepresidente
could not be present
del
here, but
comité,
he asked
vas
me
a
to
ser
put some
un buen papel.
disinformation
Así que
forward,
le agradezco
and
a
as
Luca
a
y
representative
replico
of the
sus palabras
committee,
para ustedes.
he told me that I was gonna do
Finalmente,
a good job here.
el árbol que
So
hace,
in
el árbol
his
no está
name,
esperando el
the
reconocimiento,
the
no está
tree
esperando ver el
that
escudo
is not
del
hoping for
comité
a recognition,
científico,
is not
está
hoping for.
esperando ver que aparezca
It's
el
just
fruto.
waiting
¿Sí?
to see
Por
what
ejemplo, cuando John Fine coloca
fruits that come
la cooperación
through it,
científica,
and the
ahí está el
cooperation,
fruto
the
que
scientific
cayó en
cooperation,
sus manos de ese
and
árbol
that is the fruit
frondoso.
that
El árbol está
that was
contemplando
dropped in
qué
our hands from that
qué le
tree.
va a servir para seguir vivo y para alimentar a los
And
compañeros
those are the
árboles que
things that
viven
we need
y
to
esa es la idea de
forward
Culinary Lunch.
to see how
Agradezco mucho, no me
we
extiendo
can
más y pues espero que
work on this approach.
Jones, no,
That
Teresa Jones,
Teresa Jones,
pues tenga algo que comentar al respecto,
maybe
que lo
Teresa
considere
Jones
una
has
buena
something to
idea.
comment on this,
Igualmente todo
and to be
la
considered
ciudadanía
as a
que
good
bueno,
idea.
parece
Maybe
interesante.
the
Y
people in the
esperemos
citizenship
que eso del banco
committee
de
think it's
esperma y
also interesting,
le
and maybe
parezca bien
the bank of
al
sperm
CEO
and
de
egg
Meadowbrook y
bank
diga, bueno, ¿por qué
is
no? Hay que
sounds like a good approach
ponerlo y regularlo.
for us, and
Es
we can
importante. El día
put
de
it forward
mañana
and
ellas
regulate it,
van a
and it's
necesitar un
important that
registro como asgardiano.
the baby
No va a ser pronto,
has
pero
a registry as an
hay que empezar
Asgardian.
desde ahora. Es todo, muchas
That's something
gracias.
we should start doing from now. This is everything, and thank you for your time and attention. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, Ariadne, for doing that. And we will take questions in groups of 4. So let's move further on to finance. I'm not sure Sarah is here, Sarah Clark. If she is, then you can speak now. If not, I can say Sarah's been working hard. I've spent a lot of time working with Sarah this year. And Sarah's trying to get the economy going and has some great ideas, including a membership pack and so forth. She's been doing a lot of work on this. We need to turn those ideas into action. I would like to think that maybe we can launch some of these ideas on the 12th of October, the 10th anniversary of the Asgardia nation in Nice. We shall see. But Sarah has been really hard at work and has also been talking about how we can increase revenue for associated activities in terms of things that we are involved with in Asgardia that makes sense for Asgardia to support and which can make money for us too. 2 more things about Sarah. She is always busy, works for Asgardia every week, has 5 children, so she's really working hard at life. And she's a credit to the organization. And the other one is, I hope that now we have a very proactive Prime Minister who gets on very well with Parliament and wants things to be successful. We will be able to improve the interaction between us and government, and that will help Sarah as well as the relevant ministers then help Sarah do her job in finance. Obviously, one of the relevant ministers is Mark Bogan, who is the Minister for Finance, in the same way that Sarah is the chair. Okay, let's move on. You can ask me questions about that if you like. Citizenship. Is Teresa with us? Teresa Jones. Okay. With citizenship, we call it that. We're still residents rather than citizens. It's turned out to be quite complicated. But I expect that the search for terrestrial presence for Asgardia is very important to this. And when we get land, when we get a physical place that we can go, that we can call our home as Asgardia, that will make people want to join. If, for example, we had something in the Seychelles, I'm sure the Seychelles would be happy to recognize us, and that would bring tourism in for them and would give us territory. So it's not just Antarctica, there may be other places that we can look at as well. And that's a really important consideration about having territory. Antarctica is huge. It's also very cold. So maybe if you approve Nigel Evans as the acting foreign minister, he can find other places that we can quickly get going with. Maybe on a 99-year lease. I don't know, something that still gives us our own territory. And once we have that territory, just think of the potential, things we can do there. A place to call our own. We don't ever need to spend money on an army. Constitutionally, we will never have an army. That saves a huge amount of money. And we can try and create a peaceful society on Earth, which is a case study for what we can do in space. It won't be perfect. We'll still have problems. We'll still have crimes. People will fall in and out of love. They'll be born and die. But they will do it in an Asgardia's environment. And I think that's really the big opportunity here. Okay. Ferda is here, or was here. I'm not sure if Ferda wants to say anything, because you might just be watching. But I give Ferda the chance to talk about foreign affairs if you want to. Oh, let's go to Carl. Carl, yeah, go ahead.
Hello, colleagues. I will be presenting on behalf of Ferda for the Foreign Affairs Committee.
Excellent, thank you. Go ahead, Carl. Really appreciate that. Over to you.
Let me share my screen.
While he's preparing, you have 41 minutes to vote. 41 minutes. Please do vote if you haven't. Doesn't make sense to be here and not to vote. So.
Can everybody see the screen? Just to make
yes,
sure.
we can now. Yes, we can. Yeah.
All right. So, yes. Once again, hello, Mr. Chair and colleagues, Asgardians and our viewers. I am Carl Sampson, the Deputy of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I am presenting the committee's quarterly report on behalf of our chairperson, Ferda Inan, today. This will be a short presentation. I will go into detail in a little bit, but to sum it up, the FA Committee is continuing discussions on legislations to pursue, all of which is based on our foundational act, the Asgardia Foreign Affairs Act, which is, of course, as stated here in our report, is drafted substantially in terms of instruments to be established subsequently. So the regulations, procedures, codes, and protocols required for the conduct of foreign relations, as stipulated in Article 2.4, our representative systems of ambassadorships and permanent appointee to the UN, that's 2.4.2 and 2.4.3, a global accreditation program for foreign affairs officers, codes developed in association with the United Nations, a timetable with key milestones for securing full nation status and UN membership with its required contents, specified, and a crisis management protocol. So these things are all have been mentioned already and are already laid out in the FA Act, and we are just restating it here to remind everybody that these are the basis of our future legislation. And so the committee's provisional view is that the timetable required by Article 4.3 of the Act is the strongest candidate for implementing, for first implementing instrument, since the Act already sets out what it must contain. So of course, the FA Act is on standby for discussions in relation to the Antarctica Initiative. So the committee records its awareness of Decree number 89, by which the head of nation directed the Parliament to draft and consider the legislative proposal. We are watching this closely, especially discussions and the debate that were made yesterday. And the subject matter, of course, Antarctica, engages the FA Committee's mandate concerning territory, international recognition, the Antarctic Treaty, and accession to the United States. So the point of this presentation is to just remind the Parliament that we are on standby to contribute to however this initiative progresses. And of course, auxiliary projects, discussions on the side projects are of course ongoing. For this quarter, there will be no proposals that will be discussed for now. And forward plan is to establish a regular meeting schedule, to determine the next legislation after the FA Act, which brings me to point out that there are still continuing work on pending bills. This includes the Prime Directive Act, given the conversations that we had yesterday, and as mentioned by Chair Lembit and John earlier, the Prime Directive Act. There's also the Space Debris Mitigation Act and the Space Traffic Management Act. So these are all spearheaded by our great and very hardworking Chair Ferda. We wish her well at this time. And also, one of our plans is also to seek clarification on the committee's role in relation to Decree number 89. Of course, this is in relation to the Antarctic Act, and that is why we are on standby on whatever progress is being made on this so that we can contribute effectively, and of course to continue discussions on auxiliary projects. With that, I yield the floor back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very well put together, Carl. You're up again soon for the other committee. But let's take any questions for those four committees. Those four committees are Science, Finance, Citizenship, and Foreign Affairs. Any comments from anybody for those? Okay, thank you. I intend to carry on because if we are going to be working for about 1 more hour, I won't break the event. I might have a 5-minute break just in case anybody needs to vote at 16:55, but that'll be all. So the next four committees are Information and Communications, Trade and Commerce, Justice, and Youth and Education. So let's go continue with you, Carl, because you're the acting chair. So back to you again.
Yes, give me a moment to set up the next one. Okay. Sharing my screen again to everybody. Right. Can everybody see the screen? Just to confirm again.
Not yet, but we will do. Yes, we can. Yeah, we can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let me just make sure that it's working. I apologize to our viewers. My country is currently in a state of weather disturbances. So our
it looks okay now. There's nothing bad at the moment.
Right. Okay, there we go. Right. So this committee's report is submitted on behalf of the Information and Communications Committee of the Parliament for the 14th digital sitting. It covers the committee's first full quarter operation following the restart, which was recorded in the inaugural report last May. So I want to point out that okay, just give me. Oh. Right, there we go. So the coverage of this report is from 14 Gemini to 27 Virgo. That's the 6th of May to August 11. And there have been three major developments for the Information and Communications Committee. First, the committee convened its first strategy summit. And second, it completed a systematic audit of Asgardian legislation against its own mandate. I will get into more details of that later. And finally, it identified a candidate priority bill arising directly from that audit. The committee has not yet introduced legislation in the second parliament. The work of this quarter was directed at establishing the evidentiary and strategic basis on which to do so. And first, before I get to the main details of this report, I would like to recognize the active members of the committee. Um, Aside from the one presenting right now, I would like to recognize Daniel Shoemaker, our awesome deputy chair. We also have very active members, that's Ariadne and Ferda. So I would like to thank them for their contributions to our discussions. So in terms of the progress, the first we have our meeting schedule. The commitment was to meet twice monthly where possible, at times to accommodate all members, but this has not yet been achieved. Regularization of the meeting schedule remains an open commitment and is carried forward as a priority for the coming period. We had a little bit of an excuse this quarter because we went on with the summit, and that was a very active week for the members. So we got a lot of things done. So in that regard, we were able to forego the regular schedule, but of course, moving forward, we will have to establish this as a routine. And then communications session records have been produced and circulated to members. Email and Slack, of course, remain the official channels, with Slack mostly just for priority announcements. And then documentation, the committee document library, we already have that, and which we will share to all AMPs at the end of this presentation. And then legislative pipeline, this has already been initiated, and the commitment to review the information and communications legislation has been partially discharged through the audit described at Section 5 of that review. Okay. Oh. Let me just get back to that. Right. So what was the strategy summit of the Information and Communications Committee? We got a lot of questions about this, but really, because the committee has not been active for about 2 years, we really wanted to focus first amongst ourselves and how we can collect and gather everybody and all the members, rather, and to make sure that we are still working according to our mandate. It is not our intention to withhold information or to be secretive. We are definitely sharing all the information that we had, but just because of the lag and the inactivity, we had to first make sure that we have all the documents we needed together. So the purpose of this summit was twofold. It addressed two agendas, and that which is to be the legislative program and the residency initiative. So both proceed from the mandate of the committee, which was reaffirmed at the inaugural session. So for the legislative program, this is legislation to be sponsored and developed through the committee. And of course, the nature is mandated. As AMPs, we have to make laws, so that is going to happen. And we are aiming to at least have a working draft by the end of October before the next digital sitting. In Initiatives, of course, refer to non-legislation work, such as projects to be developed with interested members. This is purely voluntary. So just like any other committee, if anyone has any ideas they would like to put forward through the Information and Communications Committee, we are very much welcoming that. Now, the legislative audit and register was the very first thing that we did at the summit. So what happened, right? So in here, the committee compiled a register of legislative acts from the Registry of Decrees of the Head of Nation, covering decree number 23 to decree number 93, and assessed each act against the mandate that we just mentioned. The published text of the Citizenship Act and the Asgardia Information Safety and Security Cyber Act were reviewed directly. The committee notes one methodological caveat, that is, the dates in the register are taken from the listing on the website, which records the date of publication of each decree. So there might be slight differences on this, but these are information that we will be clarifying. And so basically the legislation that we took into account from this audit are the ones related to the Information and Communications Committee only. So those acts and bills that have been passed that have nothing to do with the Information and Communications Committee, we had to set them aside and they're not really included in the registry. Now, principal findings of the acts assented since 2018, one falls squarely within the committee's mandate, and that is the ISCA, by the Information and Security Safety and Security Committee, rather, adopted by Decree 79 of the Head of Nation in July 2024. And then we also identified two that are adjacent. That's the Digital Properties Act and the Copyright Act. We are also, of course, looking into the Digital Content Authorization Act, which is still pending. So we have that as well. Now, matters arising for confirmation is Article 2.1 of the ISCA. And let me quote that specific part for transparency. Article 2.1 of the ISCA requires, here we go. Let me share this tab. Okay. Here we go. So Article 2.1. Can everybody see 2.1?
Yeah, it's quite small, but we can see it.
Right. Okay. I think I can zoom that a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so this is really simple. It says all digital and analog information recorded or maintained by Asgardia will be categorized and classified with labels as defined and assigned by the Controlled Information Act of Asgardia. The committee, the thing with this is we are highlighting this because no act of that name appears in the public registry yet, right? So it means that this is a bill that is yet to be drafted and assented. So Article 2, the committee further notes and offers for confirmation rather than as a finding that this piece of legislation is still underway. So right now, I will get into that later because we are working on identifying sponsors for this. Let me get back to the other. Okay. Right, so here is the legislative pipeline. So I mentioned the Controlled Information Act because we have discussed as a committee in the ICC that this will be a priority bill. And this is also because one of our committee members, the former chair of the ICC, Mr. Baseri, is said to be the primary sponsor of this act. This is an information that we are still verifying at this time, but I would like the rest of Parliament to know that this is what we will be working on after all the progress has been confirmed. But there are also other bills on the pipeline, and I want to point out that these are not the official titles yet, but these are what we have in order. We have first, let me describe each one: the Information Policy and Official Communication Act, which establishes the framework for government communications, publication standards, and the coverage of activities. And then we have the Parliamentary Records and Open Proceedings Act, governing the publication of sittings, transcripts, and voting records. A Media and Public Affairs Act, which addresses accreditation and the conduct of press relations. And then we also have an Official Languages and Multilingual Publication Act, giving statutory effect to the committee's findings that English-only documentation may create structural barriers for a significant portion of the citizenry. And then we also have a Digital Access and Inclusion Act, defining the citizens' right of access to Asgardia's digital platforms, together with accessibility standards, language access, and service continuity. And then we have the Personal Data Protection Act, governing the collection, processing, retention, and transfer of citizens' data, presently addressed only incidentally by Article 9 in ISCA. You can just refer to that in this official document. And then we have the National Digital Archives and Records Retention Act, which would be this one is, we have actually not defined this one yet, but we included it here because this is, of course, also important given that most of the Asgardian culture and Asgardian documentation is being recorded online. So these are the bills that we have on the pipeline. These are, again, just to be clear, these are not official yet. The Controlled Information Act is what we are currently looking into. Now, as discussed at the strategy summit, we have, as a committee, wanted to help grow the Asgardian residents, the number of residents. So this is our plan, and a few AMPs have reached out for ideas on this, and now we are presenting it. This is a summary, of course. We are happy to share the details with you when you are able to check our committee document library, which, again, we'll be sharing at the end of this. So now, first of all, we have the minimum attendance requirement. So what does this mean? Each elected AMP would attend a minimum number of official meetings, Q&As, Asgardia Legislative Forum, ALFs, and of course, sittings like this, the digital sittings, within a defined period. To be developed, this one is to be developed with the Parliamentary Secretary in office as a scheduling matter and balanced against time constraints identified as the primary cause of low participation. So this is, I want to acknowledge Ariadne for pointing out the lack of participation, really. And this idea was born out of that. We believe as a committee that if more AMPs are able to participate in meetings such as this, then we can show the rest of the world that we have the energy and that we are huge in numbers and that we are actually getting something done. So we wanted to make sure that in order to help boost the attendance, maybe a minimum attendance requirement would be good to implement. But of course, this is not official yet. This will be consulted with all relevant parties and of course the AMPs too. And then we also have member-led events. So these would be for capable of beginning. For this one, we are capable of beginning this immediately, right? And it's inexpensive too by design, drawing non-Asgardians in and exploring the linguistic reach of members that are able to present Asgardia in their native language. And then, of course, we have the social media program. So this will be directed at young working adults as the audience, most likely who are able to commit residency fees, and with several platforms considered, and previews of what residency offers identified as the key content format. We also have, of course, considered flagship national events, and then institutional partnerships, and of course, schools and youth engagement. Now, after discussing this at the summit, we went into further detail, and then we have a developed program. So I will just go to each point very briefly. For measurement, this means the establishment of a baseline. So resident numbers, conversion rates, channel reach. We have to get those numbers and be able to analyze them statistically, and a small set of indicators reported quarterly. So there, at least to the Information and Communications Committee, I can speak for this that we currently do not have a baseline of numbers presently, and without one, the program cannot really be evaluated. So that is something that we are going to need. Um, and then we also have internal readiness. So the MAR, the minimum attendance requirement, as above. So alongside it, a content calendar tying publication to the parliamentary calendar so that sittings and forums generate material by default rather than by exception, and a member communications toolkit comprising standard presentation. FAQs, key messages, sign up links, translated assets so that members can represent Asgardia consistently without each person having to prepare independently. So this point is all about coordination and cohesion. And then we have channels and content. Platform selection differentiated by function. Short form videos are very popular among younger generations, um, and discovery. Long form written channels for legislative explainers and institutional credibility. Preview content as the core format, a multilingual content practice, and without which the linguistic advantage of a globally distributed parliament may not be realized, and which aligns the initiative directly with the work stream that we have. And then we also are considering audience segmentation. So again, we can look into young working adults as the primary segment, space sector professionals, students, and language communities as district secondary segments requiring distinct messaging. Again, distinct messaging in their native language rather than a single undifferentiated campaign. Partnerships. This one will be a tiered approach. We are looking into one organization as a first candidate. We are not going to name that yet at this point. Followed by national space societies, university space and astronomy societies, and professional bodies in the sector. A standard outreach, brief, and partnership template to avoid negotiating each relationship from the first principles. And then, of course, you have here events, youth and schools, conversion and retention, and governments. Let me go to conversion and retention specifically. So this one is about an onboarding pathway defining the first 30 days of residency and what a new resident concretely receives. A referral mechanism enabling existing citizens and residents to introduce others, and attention to renewal and retention, the program having otherwise been framed around acquisition alone. So this means we are going to be providing a preview of what being an Asgardian resident is like. I would like to acknowledge our Deputy Chair Dan Shoemaker for this idea. Yes, so as someone who is not from Asgardia, it would be interesting to know what exactly does a membership as a residency provides. And as a committee, we will also be reaching out to Dr. Sarah Clark, the chair of the finance committee, for her ideas about a packet that was discussed in one of the chair's meetings before. So we are excited to do that. And then for governance, a named owner for each work stream, quarterly review against the indicators, and a short risk register covering the two principal risks identified. In summary, this develop program really intends to get the numbers first. We want to have the data and the information that we need so that we can plan things accordingly in order to raise the numbers for residency. And that's just not just conversion of those who are already Asgardian residents, but also retaining them so that we can keep them as members of our society. Now, 5 work streams, these are also a product of the summit that we had. These are just statuses, but let me go through it quickly. Public information and communication strategy. We are already advanced in this. And of course, the residency initiative constitutes the committee's substantive work in this area, right? And 3 legislative concepts have been identified. Multilingual access and ICT equity. This is already advanced in concept 2. And a multilingual content pipeline, as discussed earlier, is incorporated into the residency program. And then we have information integrity, accuracy, and protection, substantially advanced. The legislative audit, the Controlled Information Act proposal, and 3 further legislative concepts fall within this work stream. And then we have internal dissemination and parliamentary awareness, partially advanced, through the MAR proposal and proposed Parliamentary Records and Open Proceedings Act, which we will still develop. And then the Antarctica Initiative, of course, which is ongoing, and we are also ready to contribute to this. Now, forward plan, we are heading towards the end of this. Of course, these are matters outstanding. We need to regularize committee sessions. For information and communication committee members that are watching this right now, I encourage you to please attend our sessions. It's fun. We are open to everybody's ideas. So I'm sure you will have a great time with us. Also, we need to secure confirmation of information and cited legislation, relevant projects. We have been reached out specifically by Ricky Sickles of the Safety and Security Committee, as he is the proponent of the ISCA. So now we will be in touch with him with all the documents that he needs for this, Ricky. And then resolve sequencing question and introduce committee's first official bill in the current parliamentary session. Again, the ICC has been around for 2 years, but the committee has not yet made any legislation. So as acting chair, my priority is for drafting to really get started on this. And then, of course, to begin execution of the residency initiative. Obviously, not all of it, but parts of it that we can already start doing. And of course, now that we have done our internal work as a committee, we are now ready to collaborate with other committees and communicate our findings, the documents that you need, we can already share them. And thank you. And with that, for our viewers, I would just like to end this presentation, encouraging everybody else to download the Asgardia super app. So try it. It's fun. Everything you need about Asgardia is there. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That's great. It was very comprehensive, and I very much appreciate this. And we'll take questions in groups. We will continue now. You have 10 minutes. 10 minutes only. Oh, I'll come to the questions in a moment. I just want to get one more committee in. Let me just check. I'm just thinking we've got I'm going to just do Peter Morns because Peter can't make it here. He has a personal problem today. He sent me apologies. And what we'll do after that is then we'll have a short break and then go to John's presentation. So it was Peter. Peter Morn has been very helpful. He deputy chair of the Parliament, but also the chair of the Finance Committee, sorry, correction, of the Justice Committee. And he has a good relationship with Salvos, the Prime Minister, because they're both lawyers. He's always on hand to give his opinion and his advice, and has made some fairly quick bits of feedback when I've needed them in a hurry. As I say, he's not here himself because he can't be. He's just dealing with a personal issue. But I'm satisfied that he's reactive. He waits waits for requests for information and so forth, and then acts on them, and that's absolutely superb. So thank you to Peter. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take Ada and Benedetto, and so then we'll have covered 6 committees. Then we'll have a short break of a few minutes while people can vote, and then we'll do the other 6 committees. So Ada. Ada, can you hear me? Let's go to Benedetto.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Carl, for this presentation. Very good ideas there. And most of them have already been discussed many times by previous teams working on that subject. It's not new, but the same critical link is still missing. The Asgardia administration. We know that we cannot do anything if we don't have the right to be directly in link with the official website of Asgardia and the administration. So without a clearly identified person or team within the administration responsible for taking this proposal forward, coordinating implementation, allocating resource and reporting progress, nothing will happen, regardless of how good the ideas are. So my question is very simple. What is the concrete answer to that? Who in the administration owns this, and what happens after this meeting? Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to answer that, and then we'll have a break. Ada, I think I put your hand down by accident. If you want to ask a question, then raise it again. Carl.
Hello. Thank you, Benedetto. I really appreciate that your question is coming from a very pragmatic standpoint, because to be completely honest, this is something that our committee is still trying to work on. Obviously, establishment of a direct communication path so that these ideas can be put forward and would actually concretize is something that we want to achieve. Right now, we are still working on the channels, the official list of people that we are reaching out to, because our main priority is really about the Controlled Information Act. So right now we have not yet received responses on that legislation. But on the residency side, like I said at the end of my presentation, what we want to focus on things that we can already do now, right? And so some of our members in the committee have been enthusiastic about running member-led events, like small Asgardia events in their hometowns. And with the latest move for the election of Asgardian mayors, this will be a very timely thing to do too. So first of all, we just want to work on things that we can already do. And then we will get to that part after we get the answers that we need from the people that we are reaching out to. Specifically, first of all, to be very specific, we are reaching out to the former chair of the Information and Communications Committee, and that's for the Controlled Information Act, for information on that. So the pattern, Benedetto, is going to be, we want to get to the person who is actually able to sign off on things. And I know that's not really a very helpful answer at this time, but I want you to rest assured that this is something that we are looking into, and we are definitely not gonna let all these ideas, simmer in the air and be forgotten, because these are good ideas that the members have come up with, and we don't want them to go to waste. That's all.
Thank you. And John, finally, then we'll have a short break. You have 5 minutes to vote. 5 minutes to vote.
Yes, my question's for Carl. Well, not question, but statement, I guess. Anyway, that was a great preliminary plan that you laid out. I'm totally on board with it, and like what you presented. And I'm looking forward when you all get to the stage of involving the Trade and Commerce and the LMRG working with you. I happen to very much agree with the attendance MAR, I think you called it, initiative. I know, being in Parliament now for almost 10 years, that issue in the first Parliament has come up many times in debate, and it's come up many times here in the second Parliament. And so it is an issue that needs to be addressed. We've kind of tucked it under the rug for so many years, but yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm on board. Your legislative outlook looks intelligent. I really like some of those titles that you've come up with. They look like they could actually solve some gaps that in the LMRG that were identified. And so, yeah, I'm on board with you. And I apologize if anybody sees me get up to the screen and look like this, because I can't see the information. My glasses, unfortunately, are not adjusted to the screen. And I have to get real close like this to see what's on the screen. So I do apologize if I look kind of out of place there, but that's what I'm doing. So anyway, but thank you, Carl. That was great presentation.
Thank you. Go on.
I would like Mr. Chair to respond to John.
Okay.
John, thank you for that feedback. Do not apologize, please, for looking close to the screen. I should be the one apologizing because the typeface and the font definitely needs to be bigger. So I'm taking that into account. I can see it. I know that I can, but I know that others are not going to be able to. So we'll work on that. Thank you for that. And I also want you to know that since we're talking about people to reach out to, right? We as a committee, as I laid out there, that we are now ready for collaboration. The LMRG, of course, is the first and foremost that we are going to reach out to. Like you said, some of the laws that have been laid out, that have been lined up, might be solving some of the gaps, and that wasn't coincidental. It's really a result of the audit, our own audit that we did as a committee of which laws relate to the ICC, and then so we're excited to show our work to you. And as you know, we've worked together in FA, so you know that this will be detailed, and our goal as a committee is to not give you any more headache. Really, we want your job to be easier as the LMRG, because we are the Information and Communications Committee, so we're supposed to get our information together, really. And then also, of course, we will be reaching out to Rike Sickles, since he is a proponent of the ISCA, so we will be collaborating closely with him now from here on. And also in relation to
briefly, because we have to finish. We have to do it very quickly because I want everyone to have the chance to vote, and we're nearly out of time. So keep going. Okay.
The minimum attendance record is this was conceived because of the fact that we see, as a committee, we see it as a scheduling and a logistical issue. Since we are all living in different parts of the world, we are working on a system to make a better attendance yield for all committee members, so that those who are probably sleeping on the other side can come. And I can attest to that because I am on the other side. So
okay, I'm going to stop you there because we need everyone to be able to vote now. We can carry this on with John's point. Vote now if you haven't voted, please. Just hold on a minute. I'll let you finish your point. Vote now because you have 1 minute to do it if you haven't voted, please. Okay, carry on, Carl. Then we'll get John as well. And then we'll have a break. A short break.
Yes, Mr. Chair. That pretty much it. I hope it answered John's concerns. And yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. And Ada, you might as well make your point too. Then we'll have a very short break.
Yeah, I'm gonna be shortly. You hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, I'm glad you hear me through the computer. Thank you. The question is for you, Carl. I would like, if you don't mind, a copy as soon as possible of that document that you read today. And the other question I have is the purpose of accumulate all this information of all the community. Do you ask the community to participate in that document that you update and put in right there today? Because I understand that most of the documents that you find, they are updated. they don't stay the same. And who picked them up? Because as security, there's a lot of document update, and you could ask me or Ricky, the chair of security, because most of the documents that we working up, they are updated already. They don't stay the same unless the person is not here. Meanwhile, the person is not here, it stays as he is. We don't touch it. I think you could answer me that question, please.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yes. Ada, thank you for your question. First, I want to address the documentation part. This committee document library is basically the ICC. So we own that folder as a committee, and all the documents that are going to be posted in there are categorized by dates, and they are not Google documents. They are PDFs, dated PDFs. That means nobody can really edit it, because it is the committee's work, right? So, but it is of course open to AMPs for comments. If you have comments on any part of it, then feel free to show us. But the point is for this to be dated, because I think that's the issue. Is that one main problem that I think all of us have is that we just don't know who changes what and when and how. So we want everything to be dated. So it's almost like, if you remember us working in the Justice Committee, we talked about this before. So it's really just me carrying over what we tried to plan out. And then as for Ricky, of course, on concerns about safety and security, this will be addressed in the collaborations that we're going to do, because really all committees, I believe, are already, all the legislation, all the projects that we put forward, they have safety and security baked into each of them, right? I don't think any committee is working on a law that is unsafe or unsecure. So we want to get that baseline part covered, and that's to make sure that we are putting out safe and secure documents too, especially with sensitive information coming up. But of course, again, yes, to answer your question, it's all going to be PDFs. Nobody else can be editing it. If there are changes to a document, we will put separately, but it will also still be dated so that you know that this, oh, okay, this is an
Who
updated
who
version.
who picked them up?
I'm sorry, who picked the?
Who picked them up? Who led them the documents?
Oh, the documents.
Who
This
led
are
them?
who
Who
picked the
led
document.
them? Who led them? Who picked them up? Like you decide
Uh
this
huh.
document is gonna be here. That's the one,
Mm,
not this
okay,
one.
right. For this one, it's the Information and Communications Committee, really. Right now, there are just uh, 6 documents in it so far because, again, we are really just restarting. But this will be shared to all the Asgardian parliamentarians. It's viewable by your domain. So, you have your Asgardia Space email, you can see it, and you can comment on it. So that's pretty much it. It's decided by the committee. All of the work by the committee members that are relayed through the Information and Communications Committee will be put here. So, just to give a preview, what you can expect to see here are really just drafts of laws, just like any other committee, but this is an initiative for transparency. So that maybe when John or some other committee chairs need to like find or locate information, then at least for our committee, it's already sorted out. So people are not going to have a hard time. That's really the purpose of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ada. Okay, let's stop there and we'll quickly do the others in a minute. So just take a 5-minute break. We're only doing 5 minutes. I expect we'll be finished by 1800 UTC, I think. So 5-minute break. We'll start on the hour. Sorry, that's 10 past. We'll start at 10 past. Great. Okay, stay here and then we'll be back. We'll be back here again. session of the sitting. We're doing the committee reports. So the next one is, just checking. Sorry.
It should be Trade and Commerce.
It is you. It's John. Then and I've covered Peter. So it's John, Sabahattin, Ricky, Ria, Benedetto, Ugo. But let's get John and then Sabahattin. John, Sabahattin, and then Ricky. Okay, go ahead. Over to you, John.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as always. Got a presentation.
Sure.
You see it?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do.
Okay, this is Trade and Commerce Committee Progress Report. This first slide explains the committee record and current decision gate. This has been a period of disciplined choices. The committee brought the above space project to an orderly close when the partnership was no longer viable and concentrated its legislative work on resolving the version and process questions surrounding the AAA. The result is a shorter list of active projects, but a clearer direction and a stronger record of responsible committee work. Principal matters that we worked on was, of course, the AAA and above space. Our document status right now, we have a working draft submitted for review. Our current decision gate is a June 6 reconciliation version on the AAA is under head of nation review. If approved as a working version, it returns to Parliament for a new reading, or we stand ready to proceed forward in the most aligned method possible to our set goals. The committee overview. This reporting period was focused but not inactive. The primary committee work was, of course, the AAA review, reconciliation, and legislative coordination. We had joint sponsorship and development with the Foreign Affairs Committee, which remained central. No separate trade and commerce initiative is newly active. Existing work continues as last reported. Unfortunately, the above space project was formally canceled during this period. The work required sponsor coordination, procedural correction, reconciliation drafting, and of course, LMRG coordination, and continuing engagement with parliamentary and executive leadership. The committee formally decided to cancel. This is about the above space project was concluded, and this is why. The committee formally decided to cancel the above space project. The project lead who worked with the committee is no longer employed by Above Space. Above Space has indicated that it does not wish to pursue further relations. The committee closed the project rather than reporting an inactive with no viable partner. Good committee management includes recognizing when the conditions for success no longer exist. On the June 6 ALF response and beyond, the sponsors used the ALF to restore the act to committee development. Trade and Commerce and Foreign Affairs presented their concerns at the June 6 ALF. the sponsoring committees pulled the Asgardia or the AAA, all versions from continued consideration. The Act and all versions returned to committee development for a reconciliation. Of course, there was no vote during the LF, which there never is. A reconciliation version was adopted and forwarded to Asgardia leadership. If approved, it will count as an additional first reading with the possibility of first, second, and third reading before Parliament. Our legislative responsibility and completion rate has been advanced and successful, as well as stands ready for future initiatives. Reconciliation work was completed, a compromise text designed to preserve the initiative while reducing unavoidable conflicts. A June 6 reconciliation version was prepared and submitted for review. The text seeks to preserve strategic objectives of the initiative that this committee had set out. It strengthens alignment with Asgardian law, intent, and relevant international frameworks. Selected ALF recommendations were incorporated without reopening the entire act. Noted Asgardia leadership concerns were preserved and integrated into the reconciliation version. And post-ALF refinements included clear dispute resolution language and restrained interpretive provisions. Committee priorities for the next period. The committee immediate work is controlled, specific, and verifiable. Our committee wants to obtain written confirmation of version authorized for consideration, maintain coordination with foreign affairs and relevant legal reviewers, prepare the approved text or presentation materials for first, second, and third reading, if authorized, preserve the version history of the June 6 procedural record within LMRG. The committee will not overstate the present status. Its next work is to complete the decision gate we stated at the beginning and preserve version clarity. Plus, we stand ready for future initiatives to advance Asgardia's objectives. Two responsible choices that our committee are the Trade and Commerce Committee has used this reporting period to make two responsible choices: to close a project whose external partnership had ended, and to stay at the table on a difficult act until a credible compromise could be produced. We have not confused activity with progress. We have cleared away what we can no longer move forward and concentrated on work that can. The committee stands ready to advance the AAA through a clear and orderly process once legislative status is confirmed. And that's it. It's short and sweet.
Thank you very much, John. Very clear. And what we'll do is we'll get comments to you. I'll have questions and comments after we've got Sabahattin and Ricky, if they're here. Sabahattin, do you want to move straight to your youth and education report? Was here before. I saw him before. Yeah, there he is.
Ricky'den sonra
Yeah.
geçsem olur mu?
Can I do it
Ricky'den
after
sonra.
Ricky? Can I do it
Yeah,
after
fine.
Ricky?
Okay, Ricky, do you want to do it next? We'll go to Ricky next. That's Ricky with safety and security.
Let me see if I can share my screen.
Okay.
Let's see.
The voting is now closed. By the way, the voting is now closed. So. But by the way, yeah, just remember speed. Carl, you're a little bit on the fast side. You're talking a bit too fast for the interpreter. So just remember this is being interpreted. How's it going there, Ricky?
I don't think I'll be able to share screen, but I can read it. You have a copy of, but I'll have to share it. I'll just go ahead and read this. This here directive for Asgardia operations in the Asgardia Antarctica Treaty. Now, this here is an attachment to the treaty. Basically, it's a directive. The purpose of the purpose of the directive, one, to set out the duties and limitations placed on how security personnel support Asgardia's scientific research and facility management, including maintenance and logistics. The scope of this directive covers the development, the deployment of search and rescue, SAR, equipment, including snowmobiles, snowcats, helicopters, and fixed-wing aircraft and related operational equipment, and the management of waste generated by habitation on the Antarctic continent. Okay, terms of the directive, which is paragraph 3. The Safety and Security and Science Minister will be responsible for determining how many personnel will be needed for on-site activities in Antarctica and in relation to personnel stationed at off-site logistics centers. Paragraph 4. The Safety and Security Minister is responsible for rotation of personnel and for establishing the rotation timetable. Personnel changes will normally take place during the Antarctica summer season. The Antarctica summer season will be the resupply window for the Asgardia station. An appropriate cohort, this is paragraph 6, an appropriate cohort of medical personnel will be stationed in the relevant locations to ensure proportionate medical support for Asgardians in the Antarctic region. Also, anyone else that's connected to Asgardia while they're down there. Researchers, scientists, other contractors, and such. Paragraph 7. Waste will be managed or recycled according to the Antarctica Treaty Madrid Protocols, which are pretty explicit once you read them. Actability. 8. This directive is a guide and can be adapted to reflect the operational realities. Now, also, as a aside on this can also be used for any other area that we may get territory. This can be followed if it was like in the Seychelles or wherever. And that's it on that. Sorry I couldn't share the screen, but
that's okay. Thank you. And that is the reason we're not voting on that is because we need to get the Antarctica Act sorted out first, and then we can come back to it. But that is good. Thank you for doing that. I'm going to keep going. We have good momentum here. So, Sabahattin, are you ready, or do you want me to go to Riadel next?
Evet. Şu anda araç kullanıyorum.
Right now I'm driving. I'm really sorry. Maybe after Ria and Ur, I can take the floor.
Yeah,
maybe
we'll
last.
carry on. We'll carry on
Thank
then.
you.
That's no problem. So we've got we'll just carry on going down the list. Ria, Benedetto, Ur, and then finally Sabahattin. Is Ria with us still?
I'm sorry I dropped out there for a moment.
No problem. No problem. I saw Ria here before. Doesn't seem to be here now. Okay. We'll go straight to. Okay, we'll carry on. Benedetto, over to you, and we'll do Ur, and then we'll do Sabahattin. So Benedetto.
So hello again. Normally, you see my screen.
Yes, we do. Great.
Only one slide for me at this
That's
time.
fine. That's fine.
No major operational movement to report in this period. The main ongoing work continue development of the Asgardia mascot ready. As you can see, I have a first prototype here of riding. So it is 3D printed.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Maybe we can sell it in the next week or month as an official mascot of Asgardia. So we have to work on it with more in detail, but it's a first step. Other committee initiatives remain maintained, but largely on standby while the institutional validation path is unclear. We now wait to see what renewed direction and momentum the new Prime Minister may bring to Asgardia's practical project. That is really something missing from key question, can this new phase still reopen a concrete path from ideas to execution? So, thank you. That's all from me.
Okay. Thank you. You get extra points for brevity. It's very good. Thank you. What we'll do then is we'll go to Ur, and then finally Sabahattin, and we'll take questions for everyone in one go. So over to you, Ur, Chair of Culture.
Teşekkür ederim Sayın Başkan.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Aslında
Chairperson.
niye el kaldırdım? Benedetto'ya
I also raised
teşekkür
my
etmek
hand
için el
just to
kaldırmıştım.
thank
Sıra bana
Benedetto,
geldi.
and also it's my turn. So thank you.
Buradan
And
Sebahattin beni duyuyorsa
if
Sebahattin'e
Sabahattin
bir
is
haksızlık
also
ediyorum.
hearing
Son
me,
komite olarak
because
devam etmek istiyorum.
normally I was supposed to be the last speaker,
Ariadne
which I always like.
benim
But
ekranımı
anyway,
paylaşıyor.
so Ariadne is sharing my screen, by the way.
Bu arada anlaşılabiliyorum değil mi? Sesim
I hope you can hear me clear, right?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Tamam. O zaman
All right.
Sebahattin'in yolculuğu
So,
biraz uzun sürebilir.
as
Sonra
Sabahattin
arabasını rahat
is
rahat
still
sürebilir
driving,
burada.
he can drive easily because I might take a little bit of time.
Bir şey değil Sebahattin. Peki.
Thank you, Sabahattin. All right.
Ariadne,
So,
ekranı kaydedip
Ariadne,
ilk logoda kalsın
please
ekran. Teşekkürler.
keep with the logo. Okay,
Şimdi
please keep
gündeme
on this
dair
page. First of all,
sunumuma geçmeden önce
before I
gündeme dair
start my
bazı
presentation, I would
notlarımı
like
okumam gerekecek.
to
Öncelikle şu
share
ana
with you
kadar
some of
yapılan
my
tüm
notes
sunumları
about the agenda. First
dinleyecek
of all,
komite
I want to
başkanlarımıza
thank
teşekkür
all
etmek
the
istiyorum
chairs for the
huzurunuzda.
valuable presentations up to now.
Dün de söylediğim gibi notlarımın ilk
As I also
kısmında yer
mentioned
alan
before
Antarktika yasası hakkında
about
çok
the
fazla görüş
Antarctica
beyan etmek mümkün değil.
law, of
Yine
course,
de
I may not
bu
say
yasaya
a lot
destek
of words
olmak
about this,
amacıyla
but
evet oyu
in order
kullandığımı
to
bir kez
support
daha buradan
this
yinelemek
draft, I
istiyorum.
would like to
Bazı konuların
mention
gerçek
once again that
anlamda
I say yes
profesyonellerin işi
to that
olduğunu biliyorum.
law, because
Bu nedenle
I know that
bu
certain
konuda
things
vereceğim
are
herhangi
the
bir beyanın da
profession of
saçma ya da
professionals. That's
yanlış
why
olabileceğini düşünüyorum.
some of the statements or declarations
Ariadne
might be
senden bir
false by
ricam var.
myself.
Logoda
Ariadne,
kalalım.
please keep
Ekranın
with
en
the first
başında,
page. I'm
yukarıda.
just right now talking without any text. I have not started my
Evet,
presentation yet.
burada
Please,
kalalım.
yes, thank you. Let's keep here.
Evet. İkinci notumda bir
Another
toprak
important
parçasına
note from
sahip
myself
olma
is that
fikri sonuna
having a
kadar
piece of land
destekliyorum.
on
Birlikte
Earth
bunu
is an
bilmenizi
idea
isterim.
that I support
Elbette
fully.
bir ada, bir ülke
It
sınırları içerisinde ya da
might be, I
kenarında
don't know, just a
varsıl bir
small piece of
toprak
land. I
parçası
don't know, it can
ya da
be just
geçmişin
a
ortaya
ordinary
attığı
land or an
fütüristik bir fikir
island,
olarak
or
kıtalar arası bir
it
yüzey
might
gemi de
be
olabilir.
just a vessel, for
Efendim
instance,
bu
that is,
seçeneklerden hangisi olursa
going
olsun
through the oceans
elbette
that I
bizim
also mentioned
adımıza
before
harika
in the previous
olacaktır
session.
diyorum.
So whichever is found
Sonra da
proper,
kendi adıma
I'm okay with that.
parlamentodaki
On
üyeleriniz
my own
adına bir
behalf,
eleştiri ve öz eleştiride bulunarak komite
I
raporuna
just would like
başlayacağım.
to start
Yılda
with a
4 defa
criticism, to
olmak
be honest,
üzere
because
düzenlenen dijital
we come
toplantıların
together 4
hepimiz
times a year
açısından önemi
in
büyük.
these
Bu
digital
nedenle
sessions, and these are extremely
Asgardia
important for us.
parlamentomuzun değerli
For this
üyeleri
reason,
yılda 4 defa düzenlenen bu dijital
I believe
toplantılarımıza
that all the
katılmalarını
parliamentarians
ve
of
Asgardia
Asgardia
web
should
sayfasına
be
hesapları ile
participating
girerek
in
oy
these
kullanmaya
important
davet
digital
ediyorum.
sessions
Kusura
and
bakmayın
cast
Sayın
their
Başkan, sizin
votes.
adınıza
So
gibi
excuse
oldum
me,
ama 10
Mr.
yıldır hizmet
Chairperson,
eden birisi
maybe I'm
olarak
talking on behalf of you
kısacada
right now,
bazen
but I
yetersiz
just
olduğunu
want to
görmek en
remind
az sizin
everyone
kadar
once
üzülerek
again that
düşündürüyor
we
Sayın
have
Başkan.
insufficient number of people or parliamentarians
Umarım aynı
attending the sessions.
parlamentoya hizmet
So I
eden
just
bir
want to
üye olarak
support you in this
sizlerden
regard.
çok bir şey
So
istemiyorumdur.
I'm
Zira
sure that this is
hepinize
not
hatırlatmak
a very
isterim
big
ki bizler
demand
ulusumuzun
because we
vatandaşları
are
tarafından
all
bu
the
parlamentoya seçildik.
parliamentarians
Ve
representing the whole
vatandaşlarımıza
nation
sunduğumuz
of
seçim
Asgardia.
beyanlarımızda
And in
gelecek
our
vizyonlarımızdan ve
campaigns
onları nasıl
for the
temsilceleyeceğimizden
elections,
bahsettik.
we always
Ben de
promise that
ise
we are going to be
bize düşen
representing them
görev
fully
vatandaşlarımızı
in
en üst
Asgardia
seviyede
Parliament.
temsil
That's
etmek
why
için
it is
toplantılara
our
katılmak
job, it is
ve
our
burada
duty
konuşulan
to
konular
take
hakkında
part in these
fikirleri dinlemek,
important digital
belki de
sessions,
yorum yapmak
listen to these
olacaktır.
important
Empati
debates,
kuralım lütfen.
and cast our
Ses
votes.
tonunu
So
ve
let's
ses rengini dahi
create
bilemeden
empathy here,
sadece
because
resimden ibaret olan üyelerin
if we just
aramızdan
stay
gelip
here
geçmesi
as
onurlandırıcı
a
olurdu.
picture, as a logo,
Sizi bir adım daha
or an
taraflı etmek
avatar
isterim.
in this session, it will not serve the
Avusturya'da
purpose.
düzenlenen
For
ilk
instance,
fiziki
in the
toplantı
first
bir
physical
salonda
meeting
yapıldı.
in Austria,
Ulus
which was
başkanı,
held in a
meclis
palace
başkanı ve
attended
tüm
by the
parlamento
state
dünyanın her yerinden
president
Asgardia
and the
ulusunun bu
head of the
önemli açılışı
parliament
için
and very
Viyana'da
important high
Rus
officials
uçlarıyla uçtu.
in Vienna
Ben
for
ise
the Habsburg Palace.
onlarca evramı
I,
resmi
on the other
makamlara
hand,
teslim etmeme rağmen vize
unfortunately could not
alamadım
obtain a
ve
visa
pasaportuma
to
red
go to
kararı
Austria,
verildiği için
and I was rejected
hazırlanmış bir
by the
valiz
Austrian
ve
embassy,
ütülenmiş
and I
takım
was
elbiseleriyle
left with a
ortalıklarda
ready
kaldım.
packed
Peki üzüldüm
luggage
mü?
and ironed
Evet, çok
clothes.
üzüldüm.
Unfortunately, I could not
Avusturya'yı
attend
görmek
that physical
umurumda
meeting.
dahi değildi.
I didn't even
Sadece
care about
yol
seeing
yürüdüğüm
Austria.
arkadaşlarıma
I
kavuşmak
just
istiyordum.
wanted to see my
Ardından Estonya
comrades.
toplantısı gerçekleşti.
And then we had the Estonia
Saygıdeğer
meeting,
Başkanımız Lembit
and
Bey bu toplantının ev
Mr.
sahibiydi.
Lemitopik
Bir
was the
fırsat
host
daha
of that
gelmişti
event.
ve yol
So I had this
arkadaşlarımı
great,
gönderirdim.
again,
Bu defada
opportunity,
vize başvurusu
but
yapmayan ben olurdum.
unfortunately, I
Yine red kararı
did
alacaktım
not
biliyorum ama
apply
yetkililerin
for the
bana bunu
visa
bir kez daha
because I
yapmama
knew that
fırsat
I
vermek
was going
istemediler.
to be rejected by
Yılmadım,
the
sabrettim.
authorities.
Fiziki
But I
toplantılar
did not
artık
give up,
sadece komite
and
başkanları
the
yönetim
physical
kadrosu
meetings now,
ve
as far as
bakanlar
I know,
düzeyinde
are
yapılıyordu.
just attended
En
by the
nihayetinde
ministers or with the
arkadaşlarımla
by the
2 defa
higher
konuşma fırsatı yakaladım.
officers.
Bu benim için en
And
büyük mutluluk ve motivasyon
but I had
kaynağıydı.
the chance to meet my
Asgardia'dan
friends
aldığım düzenli bir
on some
gelir yok
physical
ama ben bu
opportunities.
yolculuğa para için
It is still
ülke
very
ülke
valid.
gezmek
It's
için
still
çıktım.
very good.
Ben bu
But
yolculuğa
I take
Asgardia
part in
ulusunu
this
yaşatabilmek
journey
için
of
çıktım.
Asgardia
Bizim için
to
en kıymetli olan
make
şey
Asgardia
zamandır.
livable
Ben bugüne kadar
forever. And
birçok
for me,
arkadaşım
time
gibi
is very important.
zamanımı ulusun
And I
için
always
cömertçe harcadım.
try to spend
Bundan
my
sonra
time
da
very
sağlığım el verdiği
generously for
sürece
Asgardia. And
Asgardia'da
from now on,
hizmetinde
of
olacağım.
course, if my health
Bu
also
kısmı
permits,
dinlediğiniz
I will
için
be always
hepinize
serving
çok teşekkür ederim.
Asgardia.
Şimdi komite
So
sunumu
thank you
için
so much, and I will be now
Ariadne
switching
zaten
to
ekranı
the
paylaştı.
committee
Buradan devam etmek isterim.
report.
Ariadne
And
hızla gitmeyelim. Sen de
Ariadne,
ekrandan
let's go
lütfen takip
slowly.
et.
Okay, you
Bu
can also
şekilde
follow my
ilerlemeye
speech,
çalışalım. Olur
and
mu?
we can go
Peki.
and scroll down. Thank you so much.
Öncelikle bizi biz yapan Asgardia Uzay Ulusu'nun değerli vatandaşlarını,
First of all,
parlamento başkanımızı, komite
as
başkanlarımızı,
chairman of the Culture
başkan
Committee, I
yardımcılarımızı,
respectfully
Yüce
greet the
Uzay
valuable
Ulusumuzun
citizens of the
parlamento
Asgardia
üyelerini
Space Nation
Kültür
who
Komitesi
make us
Başkanı
who
olarak
we are,
saygı
our
ve
Parliament
sevgiyle
President,
selamlıyorum.
our committee chairs and vice
Müsaadenizle
chairs,
sizlere
and
Kültür
all members of the
Komitesi'nin
Parliament of
fiziki
our great
toplantıdan
space
önceki
nation.
son sunumunu yapmak
Please
istiyorum.
allow me to deliver the final presentation of the
Asgardia Uzay
Culture
Ulusu
Committee
vatandaş
before our
sayılarının
physical
arttırılması
meeting.
için bazı eylem planlarımı ve devam etmekte olan
I will be
yasa
presenting some of
teklifini
my action
takdirlerinize
plans and
sunuyorum.
ongoing legislative proposals to
Ve
increase the
ayrıca
number of citizens of
Kültür
the
Komitesi'nde yer
Asgardia
alan
Space
açıklamaların ve
Nation.
sunumların
And I
Asgardia
also
Vatandaşlık
propose
Komitesi
that the
tarafından da
statements
takip
and
edilmesi
presentations
ve
included in the
vatandaşlık sayısını
Culture Committee
arttırmak
report
amacıyla
be followed up by the
komite
Asgardian
başkanı
Citizenship
Teresa
Committee,
tarafından
and that
Vatandaşlık
this
Komitesi'yle
file be
işbirliği
continued in
içerisinde
cooperation with the
sürdürülmesini öneriyorum.
Citizenship Committee in order to
Ayrıca
increase the number of
şayet
citizenships.
İletişim Komitesi Başkanımız Karl beni
And if
duyabiliyorsa
Carl can
bu
hear me as
çalışmalar
the
için
chairperson of
benim
the
bahsettiğim konular hakkında
Communication
bazı
Committee,
notlar alabilir.
he
Birçok
may want to
komiteyi
take
ilgilendiren
some
konulardan
notes
bahsediyorum çünkü.
regarding the topics that I will be mentioning,
Öncelikle
because I will be talking about some
kimlik
topics that
kartlarımızın
will be of interest for many of our committees. First of all, as I have mentioned,
Asgardia
Space Nation digital identity cards are very important. That's why I believe we have to start designing those cards. These identity cards that I have mentioned should consist of digital symbols and celestial signs. I would like to remind you of my project for next generation identity cards, which I presented to Parliament at the previous digital meeting. These next generation identity cards reflect a visionary approach that is in line with Asgardia Space Nation and extraordinary community. By extraordinary community, I mean a digital community, and in this respect, it highlights the unique aspect that distinguishes Asgardia Nation from other nations. The fact that this comprehensive and important report I prepared has also been featured in Asgardian News is a very significant development for the Culture Committee. Could you show me the screenshot, Ariadne? This is how it was featured. Could you just scroll up so that we can see the screenshot in full? One of the most unconventional presentations of the sitting came from Uğur Aydın, says the news report, who proposed a new symbolic identity system for Asgardian citizens. The proposal included the use of personalized symbols, light signatures, and hybrid naming structures intended to create a distinct cultural and technological identity. I can share this document with Teresa if she would like to have it. Also, the idea of granting Asgardia citizenship to artificial intelligence tools also received extensive news coverage. It also says that Uğur Aydın also introduced the idea of extending Asgardia's citizenship eligibility to artificial intelligence systems. The proposal sparked a discussion among parliament members regarding legal frameworks, implementation costs, and the broader implications of digital citizenship. While no formal action was taken, several participants described the concept as visionary and worthy of future exploration. And Teresa, the head of the Citizenship Committee, if she is interested in this committee, I can share with her the details, and she can also sponsor a law, a legislation. And I have another proposal. I think this might be found interesting. Now, we don't have any identity card application or practice for the children, which is a problem. Let me elaborate on that. As you know, including the Constitution, including the Asgardia website, I have, Ariadne, this is not the page that I want. Can you just scroll back? What I was trying to say is that under the current system, we cannot provide any identity registrations for our children. For example, I have my own registration. My wife has her own registration, but we cannot register our children under us as we are parents. If we can do it like this, if the people are allowed to register their children, then we can automatically increase the number of Asgardian citizens. Because the number of citizens is only based on my identity card and my wife's identity card. But why are we excluding our children? Two of them are Asgardian citizens, and even one of them was registered as an Asgardian citizen before she was registered as a terrestrial citizen. So whenever I look at the registration, you only see my identity. But if we were allowed to register our children under our names, then we would automatically increase the number of citizens of Asgardia and number of the identity cards. So I just want to discuss this issue further, but later on. Now,
Vatandaşlık
Asgardia,
Komitesi
could you
üyesi
just
olarak
scroll up
Asgardia Uzay
rather than
Ulusu'nun
down?
vatandaş sayısını arttırmak
Because
için
you
bir
went
başka öneriyle
too much, too
karşınızdayım.
further.
Aslında
Now,
bu öneri yeni değil.
as the Citizenship
Evet, burada
Committee, I'm
kalayım.
here
Biraz
with
aşağıya
another
gideceğim.
proposal to increase.
Evet,
Ariadne, please
daha aşağıya
stay
gideyim
on number
Ariadne.
2. Stay on article number 2.
Beni duyabiliyor mu Ariadne?
Ariadne,
İnelim,
please
inelim,
stay on
inelim.
the article number 2, which
Aşağıya
starts
inelim Ariadne.
as
Sen
the
yukarıya
Citizenship
çıktın.
Committee. This is number
İnelim
1.
daha.
Please scroll down.
Evet,
Yes, this is
devam
number
et,
2.
devam
Great,
et.
great.
Devam et. Devam et Ariadne. Bir ekran resmi daha var orada.
There is another
Aşağıda.
screenshot. There is another screenshot.
Bu alt
Could you just
sayfada
scroll
Ariadne.
down? Could you just scroll down,
Devam
Ariadne?
et Ariadne.
There is another screenshot.
Devam et.
Just scroll down a
Devam
bit
et.
further. A bit further. Yes.
Bu resimde kalacağız. Devam
Yes,
et
please
Ariadne. Bu
stay
resim.
on this
Evet.
picture.
Burada duralım
Stay on this
Ariadne.
screenshot.
Tamam.
Let's stay here.
Evet, bu resim çok güzel. Sayın Başkan,
This is really
bu
nice.
resmi
Now,
siz dahi hatırlıyor musunuz? Çok emin değilim.
I'm
Lütfen
not
tüm
sure if you could
parlamento
remember
üyelerini
this
bu
picture, this
resme
screenshot.
odaklanmaya davet
But
edin.
please,
Çok
I
önemli
would
bir
like to
resim.
invite all the
Çünkü
members of Parliament to
geçmişte bizim
focus on this
Asgardia web
screenshot
sayfamızda
because
böyle bir
in the
uygulama
past,
vardı. Ben
on
de
our
çok merak
Asgardia
olduğum için
website,
bunun
there was
ekran
this
resmini almıştım. Ne
screen.
anlama geliyor diye. Şimdi
I just
bu
wanted to
ekran
take
resmi
a
üzerinden bir
screenshot
sunum yapmak
to
istiyorum.
think
Vatandaşlık
further.
Komitesi üyesi olarak o dönem ben
Now,
Vatandaş
as the
Komitesi
member of
de üyeydim
Citizenship
zannedersem.
Committee, at
Asgardia
that time I
Uzay
think I was the
Ulusu'nun
member of
vatandaş
Citizenship
sayısını
Committee.
arttırmak için
I'm
bu
here with
öneriyle
another proposal to
karşınıza geliyorum.
increase the number
Aslında
of
bu öneri yeni değil
citizens of Asgardia.
ve
Actually, this proposal
Asgardia'nın
is not
geçmişte
new
kullandığı
and
bir
is a
yöntem.
method used by
Ancak
Asgardia in the
amacını tam
past.
anlamadan
However,
bu yöntem menüden
this
kaldırılan
system
bir sistem oldu.
was
Aklıma da yeni
discontinued
fikirler doğurdu.
before
Şimdi
I could
o döneme
understand
ait
its
ilk
purpose,
sayfanın ekran görüntüsünü
but it had
görebilirsiniz. Bu
given
görüntü
rise to new ideas in
kazanılan
my mind in
puanlar
the past.
gibi
Now,
farklı uygulamaları
you can see
gösteriyor.
that screenshot.
Yani
This image shows some
siz
different
sayın
applications,
ne
such
bileyim
as
Asgardia
earn
sayfasına
points. So,
girdiğinizde böyle bir menüyle
what were these
karşılaşıyordunuz
points
daha
or
önce.
numbers
Ama şu
showing a
anda bu yok.
person's
Yani
activity
buradaki
on their
level
Asgardia
ne
page
anlama geliyor?
used
Toplam
for
puan ne
back then?
anlama geliyor?
But what
Evet,
does level
tamam.
mean? What does total
Peki
points
o
mean?
zamanlar bir kişinin
Yes, as I said,
Asgardia sayfasındaki aktivitesini gösteren bu puanlar
these
veya
points
sayılar için
used to show the person's activity
nasıl
on Asgardia
kullanıyorduk
page.
bunları?
But
Dürüst olmak
how did we
gerekirse
use them?
bu
To
uygulamanın
be
ne
honest,
işe yaradığını
I
sona
didn't
ermeden
understand
önce
what this
anlamamıştım.
application
Yine
was
de sayfamdaki bu sayılar ve
before it ended.
sayaçlar o zamanlar
Nevertheless,
beni
these
tatmin
numbers and
ediyordu.
counters on my page
Birçok
motivated me
paylaşımım
at the
web
time.
sayfasındaki o döneme
Many
denk
of my
gelmişti ve
posts coincided with
sayfamdaki
that period,
sayıların ve sayaçların
and I liked the
sürekli
fact that
artması
the
hoşuma
numbers and
gidiyordu.
counters on my page
Bu
were
geçmiş
constantly
uygulama
increasing.
hakkında herhangi bir
If
düşüncesi olan
anyone
varsa
has any thoughts
sohbete katılmaya
on
davet
this past
ediyorum.
application,
Vatandaş sayısını
I
arttırmak
invite
için
them to join
bu
the
programı
conversation.
yeniden
And to increase the number
canlandırılması
of citizens, I
ve
propose that
kazanılan
this
puanların
future within the
vatandaşlara
website
ödül olarak
be revived
iade
and
edilmesini
that the
öneriyorum.
earned
Bu
points be
ödül
returned to the
fiziksel
citizens
bir
as
toplantıya
rewards.
davet,
This
dijital
reward
bir
could be an
toplantı ve
invitation to a
konuşma
physical
daveti,
meeting, an invitation to
vatandaşlık
speak at a
kartı
digital
veya
meeting, a
Star
citizenship
Shop
card,
dükkanından bir
or even an
Asgardia rozeti
Asgardia
olarak
badge
lütfen
from the
bu
Star Shop.
konuya da odaklanmanızı tüm
Please,
parlamentodan rica
please
ediyorum.
consider this,
Evet, ekranın bu kısmı ayrıca
my dear colleagues. And
yaklaşık yarım saat önce Sarah'tan,
half an
Başkan
hour ago,
Sarah'tan konu açıldı. Finans Başkanı
we were
yaptığı
discussing
bir
about
üyelik çalışmasına
Sarah,
katkı sağlayabilir mi
head of
Sayın
the
Lambit?
finance
Bir taraftan
committee.
da onu düşünüyorum.
Maybe
Belki Sarah'ın
this could
notları
contribute
arasına
to
buna girebilir. Bu
her
yöntemi kullanabilir.
efforts. Maybe
Yani bu
she
açılış
might want to make
ekranındaki bizim
some notes
ikonumuzun
about
altında yer
this.
alan bir kısım. Bunu
This
değerlendirelim
was a
diyorum.
part
Evet.
that used to
Ariadne
be
aşağıya doğru
in our
ilerleyelim.
opening screen.
Kaydın sayfasına gidiyoruz.
Could you please scroll down, Ariadne, right now?
Harika. Resme kadar gelelim Ariadne.
Now
Resmi
let's see the
gösterelim.
picture. Let's
İlerleyelim
see the
Ariadne.
picture. Just
Raydini gösterelim.
scroll down a bit so that we can see the writing. Could you just scroll down? Yes.
Gösterelim. Evet. Harika.
Great.
Burada kalalım Ariadne.
Just
Burada
stay there.
kalalım. Evet Sayın Başkan. Gerçekten Benedetto Professor'un da az önce açıkladığı gibi
As
harikasın
explained by
Ariadne. Bu şekilde
Benedetto
kalalım.
Professor. Ariadne, that's great.
Her zaman
Thanks.
olduğu gibi Sayın Parlamento,
As
Yüce Uzay Ulusu
always,
Parlamentosu kapanışı Raydin ile alakalı
distinguished
çok
members
önemli
of
bir
Asgardian
haberle
Parliament,
sonlandırmak
I want to
istiyorum.
conclude with
Raydin şu
some
anda
important news
birçok önemli
regarding
sertifika
Raiden.
kazandı ve
Raiden has currently
yolculuğuna
won
Asgardia
many
ile
important
birlikte devam ediyor.
certificates and continues
Sizlere
its journey with
sırasıyla
Asgardia.
sertifikalarını takdim
I
ederek
will will present Ryden's certificates to you one by one, and finally conclude the presentation of my culture commentary report with the last and the most important certificate. Ariadne, could you just scroll down to the other image right now?
Evet,
That's great. We can stop here.
Efendim bu gördüğünüz belge Türkiye Cumhuriyeti
This
Kültür ve Turizm Bakanlığı
is
yani benim şu anda görev
a
yaptığım
certificate
Kültür Komitesi ve Kültür
issued by
Bakanlığı'na
the
bağlı
Republic of Turkey
organizasyonun
Ministry of
Raydin
Culture
için
and
vermiş
Tourism.
olduğu devlet lisans belgesi
This
efendim. Bu
is the
gördüğünüz belge.
license certificate issued by the
Raydin'in
Turkey Ministry
orijinal
of Culture
Türkiye
and Tourism
Cumhuriyeti
for
tarafından
Raydin.
teslim edilmiş lisans belgesi.
This
Bu
is the
belgede
original
Raydin'in
license
ismi,
certificate. You can
türü ve
see
ebatları
the
yazıyor.
name
Hatta
of
şöyle yazıyor
Raydin,
türü ve
its
ebatlarına.
type, and
Grafik
its
eserler, karikatür
size
eserler, her
dimensions.
türlü
Graphic works,
tiplemeler olarak geçiyor ve
cartoon
diyor ki
works,
tavla
and
zarından
all
tutun da
kinds of
bir bina yüksekliğine dahi yapılabilecek ebatta bir figürdür diyorum. Ariadne bir sonraki resim.
types of figures, and the size could be any size.
Evet,
Now,
burada
the
durun.
next one. Next
Evet,
one,
Sayın
great.
Başkan,
We can stop
bu
here.
evrağı göstermekten de gurur duyuyorum.
I also am proud to
Asgardia Uzay Ulusu Kültür
be
Komitesi'ne
showing you
ait
this
Raydin'in
license.
bir başka lisansı.
It is
Şu
the
anda
Raiden
iki devlet
license
tarafından
issued by
lisanslanmış
Asgardia
vaziyette.
Space Nation
Bunlardan
Culture
birisi
Committee.
ulusumuzun lisansı, diğeri de
So,
Türkiye Cumhuriyeti'nin
Raiden
lisansı.
is licensed by two nations
Ariadne
now,
bir başka
Turkish nation
resim var altta.
and
Onu
the
geçiyorum.
Asgardian nation. Could you just scroll down to the next picture? Could you just scroll down to the
Sonraki resim Ariadne.
next picture? Ariadne.
Evet. Bu
Great.
evrağı Dubai
This document.
toplantısındaki tüm katılımcılar gördü ama parlamentoda bu evrağı henüz
It
görmeyenler
is
varsa
seen by all the
onlarla da
participants
gururla
of the
paylaşmak
Dubai
isterim.
meeting, but I'm proud to
Evrağı
share this
hazırlayalım.
document
2025 senesinin Mart ayında
with anyone who
Asgardia'nın
haven't.
miraslarının Ay'a gidişinde Raydin'den de bir
It
parça
was
dijital
issued
kopya Ay yüzeyine ulaşmıştı. Cheryl
because
Gallagher'ı buradan sevgiyle anıyoruz.
Moon
Dubai'de
received
ödül töreninde
a
orada
digital
bana
copy
bu
of
evrağı kendisi
Raiden
takdim etti.
when there was
Ay'a
this moon launch,
gönderilmiş. Ben
and
bir kopya olarak ilk oyuncak olarak
Madam Cheryl Gallagher shared this
Raydin'in hakkının teslim
information
edildiğini
with you.
düşünüyorum. Evet. Bu
And I
evrak.
believe that as an
Peki,
artifact,
en
as an
önemli evrağa
important
geliyoruz. Bir
work,
sonraki evrak. En
this
önemliden kastım
was sent
artık
to
evrak konusunda son
Moon.
aşama.
Now,
Raydin'in
this is
başta
the.
bu hayatta alması gereken
Please scroll
bir
down to the
evrak daha
next
var
document.
aslında. Onu birazdan söyleyeceğim. Burada
Scroll
yazılı.
down to the next and the
Evet,
most
burada
important
kalalım.
document. Actually, there's one other document that
Tamam o
Raiden
zaman
has to
Ariadne. Evrağın
take,
tamamını görelim.
but I'm going to discuss about it later
Harikasın.
on. Please keep
Peki.
this on the screen, Ariana. Thanks
Sayın
very much.
parlamento üyeleri,
Now,
burada görmüş olduğunuz
esteemed
evrak
members of Parliament,
Raydin'in
this is the
patent kuruluşu tarafından verilmiş olan tescilli marka
Raiden
evrağı.
trademark
Resmi büyütebilir miyiz
document
Ariadne?
issued by Turkish Patent Institute.
Evet.
Could you just
Markanın altında mal ve hizmet
zoom in?
sınıfları diye yazar.
Thank you.
Türkçe olduğu için
At the
bunu
bottom,
anlamayabilirsiniz.
you
Bu
will
Raydin'in
see
altında
that it
yazıyor.
says the type of
Mal
good
ve
or
hizmet sınıfları
service.
diyor. 3 tane rakam var. 09,
You can see
16
three
ve
numbers,
28.
9,
Efendim,
16,
bu
and
rakamların
28,
karşılığı şuna denk geliyor.
which means the
Sizinle
following.
bunları paylaşmak zorundayım çünkü
I have to share this with you
imalat
because
olsun, efendime söyleyeyim ticaret olsun,
when it comes
kültürün
to
komitesi olsun,
manufacturing, when it comes
biz
to
bu markalarla
commerce, when it comes to
ilerleyeceğiz.
culture,
09,
we will
16
be
ve
relying on
28'in
such kind of
hizmet
brands.
sınıfı karşılığı
9,
bir
16,
oyuncak
28
markası, bir
means
yapay
that
zeka
a
markası
toy
ve bir
brand,
robot
an
markası
artificial
anlamına
intelligence
geliyor.
brand, and a robotic brand.
Evet. 2016 senesinde Doktor Igor
In
Aşurbeyli tarafından
2016,
Asgardia ilan edildi ve
Asgardia was
anayasanın
declared as a
erken
nation by
çağlayanlar
Dr. Igor
listesinde
Ashurbayli,
345. Asgardia
and
vatandaşı oldu.
I have been the
Ardından parlamentoya girdim.
345th
2018
Asgardian
senesinde bilim
citizen
kurgu
who
yazarı ve
undersigned the
sanatçı kişiliğim
constitution. I became a
beni
member of
Raydin
Asgardia,
figürüyle buluşturdu.
and my artistic
Ardından
personality
Kültür
brought me
Komitesi
to this
Başkanlığına
figure of
layık
Raiden,
görüldüm ve
and
yeni görevimi
I was deemed
başarıyla geçtim.
worthy to be
Ariadne
the chair
sonraki
of the
resme
Culture
bakalım.
Committee, and I have undertaken this work. Now, Ariadne, could you please scroll down to the next image?
Evet, burada duralım Ariadne.
Yes, please stop
Resmi
here.
gösterelim tamamını.
Let's show the picture in its entirety.
Biraz daha yukarıya çıkabilir miyiz Ariadne?
Could you just
Kutuları da
scroll a bit down so
Harikasın.
that we can see the boxes?
Peki.
Great.
Son olarak da 2018 senesinden bugüne
Now,
kadar yolculuk yaptığım ve sadece benim değil,
Since
Asgardia
2018,
uzun ulusunun da
I
duayı
have
olan
been
Raid'in 2026
traveling
yılında oyuncak,
together with
yapay
Raiden,
zeka ve robot dallarında Türk
a friend of Asgardia,
buluşlarından
and
marka
by
olmaya hak kazandım.
2026,
İlk
Turkish
önce
Patent
Asgardia uzay
Institute
yolculuğuna
recognized
katılmıştı.
Raiden
Daha
as a
sonra
brand,
da parlamento
first
üyesi olarak
as
geçtiğimiz
a
10
citizen
sene
of
içinde
Asgardia, and then a
ulusumuzun
member of
içinde bir
Parliament
marka
of Asgardia.
yaratmanın
In the
gururunu
last 10
yaşamak
years,
gibiyim.
I
Yani Raiden'e güvenen
have the
herkese çok
happiness of
teşekkür ederim.
creating a
Oyuncak
trademark
müzelerinde
brand
sergilenen
for Asgardia.
ki
Thanks very much for your
Benedetto'nun az
attention.
önce paylaştığı
Raiden is
fotoğraftaki resim
being demonstrated
Ümran Bara'dan
in
İzmir
many toy
oyuncak
museums.
müzesinden bir karedir.
One of them
Eğitim
is
kurumlarında
Ümran Bara'dan
öğrencilerle
İzmir
buluşan
Toy Museum.
Raiden, tüm bunları
Raiden
yaparken Asgardia
is
uzay
also
yolculuğunun
meeting
bir
with the students
parçası
in various
ve
educational
ulusumuzun elçisi olarak
institutions.
dünya
Asgardia is a
habercisi
part of,
olmaya devam
sorry,
edecektir.
Raiden is a part
Şunu
of
söylemeden
Asgardian
geçmek
nation
istemiyorum
and a
Sayın Başkan.
representative of it.
Benedetto'nun paylaşmış
I
olduğu
would like to
az
say the
önceki
following as well. Benedetto just
himayet
shared
komitesinin sunum resmindeki
the
Raiden figürü dediğim
manufacturing
gibi İzmir Oyuncak
report
Müzesi'nde yer alıyor.
image,
Fakat
the cover image.
figürü orada
Yes,
daha
it
önemli
is
kılan,
found in that
ulusumuzla
toy museum,
ilişkilendiren kısım
but
figürün
most
arkasındaki bilgi
importantly,
etiketi var. Benim
just
resmimin olduğu.
behind
Efendim
Raiden
o bilgi
figure, there
etiketinde
is this
Asgardia uzay
informational
yolculuğundan
label
bahsediyor.
which
Yani
mentions Asgardia
bugün
Space Nation.
o müzeye giden herhangi bir
So
çocuk
today,
veya
any kid
yetişkin o
or
figüre
any
baktığı
adult
zaman
that
arkadaki bilgi etiketinde
visits that
efendim
museum,
bilinçaltından Asgardia'yı
and
kodlayacak kendisine.
whenever they read this information label just behind
Evet.
Raiden, they will consciously or
Ekranda
unconsciously
izlediğiniz
see the name
Ariadne bir
Asgardia.
önceki resme geri gelelim yukarıya.
Ariadne,
Yukarıya
could you
geri
just
gelelim.
scroll
Kutulu
up
olan
to the
Raiden resimlerine
previous
geri gelelim.
image where the Raiden is shown with a
Buradan
box?
devam edeyim hemen. Çok
Could you
fazla
just
kalmadı
scroll
sunumum.
up
Beni duyabiliyor
because
musun
I'm about to
Ariadne?
finish? Ariadne, can you hear me? Could you just scroll up
Evet.
with to
Bu
show
resim de
us the
olabilir
picture?
ama
Yes, this one.
evet bu resim de çok güzel.
Okay, this is
Tamam,
also
burada
nice. This is
duralım
also
Ariadne.
nice. Let's
Stop.
stop here. Let's stop
Kutuları
here.
görelim.
Let's see the boxes.
Ekranda izlediğiniz resim
The
ticaretleşmiş
picture
kutuların
that you
detaylı bir Raiden
currently
figürüdür.
see,
Satışa
these
hazırdır
are
Sayın Başkan.
commercialized Raiden products. They're
Dün
ready for sale.
yani dijital toplantımızın birinci günüydü. Dün değil de ondan önceki gün.
2 days ago,
Siz dediniz
on the
ki
first
Sayın
day
Başkan,
of our digital
Asgardia
meeting,
ulusumuzun ticaret yaparak
Mr. Chair, you said
değer
that
ve para kazanacağı yeni
our
bir döneme
nation
işaret ettiniz.
should start a new
Ben bu
period
yeni döneme
where we will be
önünde bir
generating
engel
sources of
kalmayan
income through
ve
commerce.
ticari bir marka haline ulaşmış olan Raiden ile
Now, this new
katkı
period,
sağlamaya çalışacağımı
I
söylemek
would like
isterim.
to I would like to do
Elbette
my best to
bu
contribute to
girişim
this
için
new period with this
imalat ve
figure
ticaret
of Raiden,
komitesi
which is ready to be
tarafından bazı
commercialized. Of
yönergelerin
course,
hazırlanması gerekir.
we will have to have
Raiden,
some
Asgardia ulusunun bir parçası olarak
regulations by
uzay
our
konseptli
Trade and
çocuk
Commerce
ve
Committee
gençlik dergilerinde,
and Ministry
Rum dergisinde
for us to be able to do
kendisine
this.
ayrılacak bir bölümde maceralarını da sergileyebilir. Bu maceraların
Raiden
görsellerini
can
ve metin
also be
yazarlarını
turned into a
gerek
cartoon
ben
character
gerek
that goes
Benedetto
through various
yapabilecek
adventures.
kapasitedeyiz.
I think we
Burada
have the
olduğunu
capacity
gayet iyi
to
biliyorum.
do such kind
Star
of
Shop
things together with
tarafından
Benedetto.
lisanslı ürünleri satılabilir Raiden'in. Birçok
Raiden
bölge.
could be sold
Endüstriyel
as a
icadının
licensed product
yanında
in the
el
Star Shop.
yapımı koleksiyon parçaları da
Apart
satışa
from its
açılabilir.
industrial
Mesela bu
production, there
resimde
could
gördüğünüz
be some
el yapımı orijinal gibi.
artisanal
Çünkü
manual
Sayın Başkan,
productions
benim sizlere
or
teslim ettiğim
special
Raiden
collections.
figürleri
Because
2018
the
senesinde yaratılmış
Raiden
ilk
figures
dönem
that I have
koleksiyonları. Bir
given
tanesi
you,
Benedetto'da var o figür.
that I have presented
Sizde de
to you,
olması lazım
were
Sayın Başkan.
created
John
in
Fine'a teslim
2018
ettim o
and they
figürden.
were the first
Onlar
versions. And John Fine also
figürün
has
ilk doğuş zamanlarıydı. Ama şu
a
anda
sample
bir
of it.
diorama sanatıyla üretiliyor bu figürler.
Nowadays,
Kıymet
they are
anlamında
being
çok yüksek kıymete
produced
sahip.
using different
Artık
techniques, so
Asgardia'nın
it's
tarihini
very valuable.
oluşturabilecek objelerden bahsediyoruz.
It is one of the objects that
Endüstriyel
will
imalatın
be the
yanında
evidence
el
of
yapımı
history of
koleksiyon
Asgardia.
parçaları da satışa açılabilir.
Apart from
Animasyon filmler
industrially
ya da
produced
gerçek
ones,
sinema
there could be some
filmleri
artisanal,
yaratılabilir.
manually produced
Sayın
ones. We
Parlamento
can
Başkanım
shoot
Berdi
some
Topik,
movies. We can
İmalat
prepare
Komitesi Başkanı ve
cartoons.
Bakanı Benedetto ve Jacob, Ticaret Komitesi
Mr.
Başkanı ve
Lambitopik,
Bakanı
Benedetto, Jacob,
açık çağrı ve
John,
teklifimdir.
and Bendel.
Şimdi
This is my
sizleri
open call to all
daimi
of you.
komutasında gezegenler arası okul servisiyle okula giden Asgardia ulusunun pırıl pırıl çocukları görseliyle baş başa bırakmak istiyorum.
I would like to
Ariadne en
show
alt bir
you
otobüs
the
resmine
visual
gelin.
of
Senden
a
rica
bus
ediyorum.
which shows the children of Asgardia using this interstellar bus that will take them to their school.
Evet.
Yes,
Bu
this is
resmi
the
biraz
image.
büyütelim Ariadne.
Could you just zoom in?
Evet. Evet,
Yes.
Sayın Başkan ve parlamento üyeleri, bir Asgardia otobüsü
This
üzerinde
is an
gezegenler
Asgardian
arası okul
bus.
servisi
It
yazıyor.
says
Direksiyonunda Sir
Interplanetary
Raid'in
School
arka
Bus.
tarafında da
Raiden
pırıl
is
pırıl
driving the bus.
çocuklarımız var.
And
Umarım şu anda bize fantazi gibi gelen bu görseller
these are
Sayın
our
Başkan ve
bright children.
parlamento üyeleri
It may look
tüm
like a
mücadelemiz bu
fantasy
yönde,
right now,
gelecekte
but this is what
umarım
we are striving for.
bunları
This is what we are working
başarabiliriz.
for. And in the future, hopefully, we will
Beni
be able
sabırla
to do this.
dinlediğiniz için
Thanks
çok
very much
teşekkür
for your
ederim.
patience.
Huzurlarınızdan
And
saygı ve selam ile ayrılmak isterim.
I leave
Çok
you with
teşekkür
respect
ederim.
and greetings. Thanks very much for your attention.
Ariadne, sana da çok teşekkür ederim
Ariadne, thanks
paylaşımın
very
için.
much for helping me, by the way.
Evet,
Mr.
Sayın
Opik, you are muted.
Başkan, konular hakkında yorumlarınız.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ugo. It's always interesting to hear your creative aspirations. You and Cheryl both bring great opportunity for us to become even more creative than we are already. And I'll allow questions after the last presentation. Now, Sabahattin, we do need you now, even if it's brief. Can you do it? Are you able to present?
Evet. Teşekkür ediyorum.
Yes, thanks
Yeah,
very
we can
much.
hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Just do it. You can do a verbal report. That's fine. We don't need to see you, but we do need to do it now. Hello?
Paylaşım da yapabilirim. Paylaşım geldi mi?
We can see it. Yeah.
Evet. Teşekkür ederim.
Thanks very much.
Ben Gençlik ve Eğitim Komitesi olarak
As Youth and Education Committee,
bu dönemki raporu sizlerle paylaşmak istiyorum.
I would like to share our report with you.
Asgardia
As you may know,
kanunları gençlik ve eğitim konusunda çalışmalarımız vardı.
we did some work on law on youth and education. Corna worked on this, and then John Fine contributed, and together with the third reading, I sent you a final report. And now, at this second stage, our topic has been developing a cooperation between Asgardia and universities. I have undertaken such a study. I have drafted a list of universities that provide education on space. So an Asgardia, I believe that universities could be sent a letter prepared by Asgardian secretary. We can find the contact addresses, emails of those universities, and then we can try to get into touch with them. This was an idea. Another work, Asgardia Space Education Program. This is going to be a kind of 4-year faculty education. I have already prepared the curriculum of it and presented it as a report. This could be revised, we can shorten it, or we can transform it. So in terms of content, especially in terms of the youth, it was somewhat weak, but then we developed it further. This is an important area of work because in the long term, in the Asgardia education platform, it could be possible for us to provide some kind of remote education with the topics of like space, life in space. Because normally when you are to start a new field or a new department in the university, this is what you do. You focus on the curriculum, you focus on the field. So this could be also considered. If our institutions related to education accepts this, then we can have an Asgardia space education program. Another study, but unfortunately I was unable to implement this. You know, there's this World Youth Day on 12th August every year. We were thinking about holding a summit, holding a congress on this World Youth Day. We were thinking big, but then because of the lack of resources, I tried to turn it into a kind of online summit. Right now, we have the concept of such a youth day with its program, but unfortunately the day has passed. It was last week. Another program is also very important, 77th International Astronautical Congress, between 5 and 9 October 2026. It's going to be held in Turkey, in Antalya. I was really eager to participate. I sent 2 summaries, but unfortunately I got rejected because there were no dedicated topics for space sports. But I made my application to take up a voluntary role in that Congress. I'm still waiting for an approval. So if I am able to join that Congress, attend that Congress as one of the volunteers, I will report back. And there will be another large conference in Turkey. This is COP31. This is the climate summit. International Climate Summit. 31st summit will be held in Turkey in November. I'm also making some attempts to take part, but I am somewhat undecided. Should I be attending on my behalf, on my university's behalf, on Asgardia's behalf? Because if I attend on my university's behalf, then I cannot put Asgardia's name. Then if I attend on behalf of Asgardia's behalf, then I cannot go through the procedures. So I would like to ask a question. Are we a member of any space confederations, any space institutions? For example, as far as I know, the Russian Space Agency attended to one of the conferences, one of the space conferences, but Asgardia, I think, will not be able to attend the Astronautical Congress. And I am also thinking about organizing a certificate program. This is going to be a short-term remote education certification program, which means that if you attend the training or education, then you will be aware of Asgardia and you will get a certificate of space education, which means that it is going to be supporting our future work. If I can do this, I will be sharing this academic work of mine with you as well. Apart from this, last year in Antalya, Kemer, I delivered a presentation regarding the space sports. Linda and Christina took this to the news portal of Asgardia. Thanks very much for their efforts. Apart from this, in the coming period,
odaklanacağımız çalışmalar var.
there will be some other works that we'll be focusing on,
Asgardia
especially this
oyun projesi
Asgardia
adı altında da
Games project.
Uğur'un mantığından yürüyerek
I
uluslara
was
sertifikalar
relying
verilmesi
on
gerekiyor. Yani
Uğur's
patent
ideas, but
ilgili
this
problemleri
must be
çözmek
certified.
gerekiyor.
So we need to overcome the
Bu
issues with the
konuda
copyright and
daha
trademarks.
çalışma yapmamız gerekiyor. Yani
So we need to focus on this as well.
sermaye sertifikasyonu uluslararası düzeyde bir
Because
Asgardia uzay oyunu
we
online
are thinking on
internet
some
oyunu
kind of Asgardia
e-spor
space
dedikleri
games, kind of
e-games
online
şeklinde bir
e-games.
organizasyona dönüştürebiliriz diye
This could be turned
düşünüyorum.
into such
Bu
a
da
large
bizim
scale
için önemli bir
e-games organization,
çalışma.
which is an important study for
Bunun
us.
dışında önümüzdeki dönemde
Moreover,
hem bu Asgardia oyun uzay oyunları modelini
both
geliştirmeye
the
yönelik
model of
hem
Asgardia Space
bir de
Games and also
Asgardia Uzay Eğitimi Enstitüsü
Asgardia
denen
Space Training
dünyadaki
Institute or Space
enstitülerin
Education
araştırıyorum.
Institute
Hem
is also a very
senin
important project for
kuruluşların
us
hem
because
üniversiteler
I'm
bünyesindeki
always
mesela bizim
researching
Türkiye'de
some international models. For
Türkiye
instance,
Uzay
in
Ajansı
Turkey,
var.
we have the
Dünyadaki
Turkish Space
uzay
Agency,
ajansları, uzay dernekleri,
just like
uzay
many other
enstitüleri,
international
programları
space institutes,
konusunda
space agencies.
hem üniversitelerin
So we
eğitim
can
programları
take
konusunda
model from them
hem de
and
bu
we can build a curriculum on this
uzay okur yazarlığı
in order to increase space
konusunda
literacy.
çalışmaları önümüzdeki dönem
Actually, I think as Asgardia, we have a
yaptıracağımızı
lot of
düşünüyorum.
things to
Bu
do and
çalışmalarla
we
ilgili
can do
hem
great
Asgardia
work there.
Gençlik ve Eğitim Kanunu hem
So both
üniversitelerde
the Asgardia Youth and Education Law
işbirliği
and
konusu
also our
hem
collaboration with
Asgardia
universities and
Uzay
also
Eğitimi
the
Programı
Asgardia Space
hem de
Education
son olarak
Program. And
hazırladığımız
finally, the
Asgardia
Asgardia
sertifika
Space
programını ek olarak
certification program or
sekreteriye
certificate program
gönderdim.
have been
Önümüzdeki
sent to the
dönemde bu
secretariat
çalışmaları
as an appendix. So
yasal
hopefully in
düzenlemelerle
very near
birlikte
future, we will be concluding all
harmonizasyonu
this official
burada
work
aldığımız
and present
yetkilerle
them with the
hareket
Asgardia.
etme
And upon
noktasında hep birlikte
receiving
çalışabiliriz diye
approval
düşünüyorum.
from the
Ama
parliament
benim en
and from
çok
the head of
üzerinde
nation, of course,
durmak
we
istediğim
will continue
hem
our efforts.
Dünya Uzay Konferansı
But the
hem de
World Space
Dünya İklim
Conference
Konferansı
and also the
yapılacak.
World
Bunlar iki çok
Climate
büyük bir
Conference,
fırsattı.
which is
Ben
being
gönül
held in
isterdim ki
Turkey,
bu
as you
iki
probably know.
toplantıya da hem
These are
Asgardia'ya
two
bağlı
important meetings. I
hem de
sincerely
Asgardia
wish
adına bizlere
Asgardia will
katılalım.
be a part
Bu
of
konuda
those
da ben
two
mail de
important
attım
meetings. I
ve
have also sent
bilgi
some
de vermiştim.
emails to relevant
Platformda da
parties on this,
paylaşmıştım. Geçen
and I shared
toplantıda da
some documents
sunmuştum.
and information
Burada bir
already
yetki
with you.
karmaşası var diye düşünüyorum.
But I
Kendi
think there is some
aramızda
kind
hareket edemiyoruz. Yani ben
confusion of
etmek de istemiyorum çünkü
how to say
üniversitede
authorities.
çalışıyorum.
Of
Bir
course, by the way,
yetkili
I'm a
olursam
professor at
Asgardia
the
adına bu iki
university, as you
toplantıyı
probably
da
know. But if I
yakından
am
izlemek,
authorized
takip
on
etmek
behalf of
isterim.
Asgardia, I
Eğer
will be
yetki
happy to
verilirse
represent
oradaki sizin
and follow up
pozisyonlarınızı,
those
durumlarınızı
two important
bilmiyorum.
meetings on
Bu
behalf of Asgardia. I
çerçevede
don't know how it will
çalışmalarımız
take
devam
place, but
etmekte.
maybe you can give me
Bir eksikliğim daha var.
ideas or
Henüz bir
guidance on this.
komitede benden başka kimse
Moreover,
çalışamıyorum. Bir John Fine ile
unfortunately,
birlikte
I have
sağ
only
olsun
John Fine
bize yardımcı
supporting me
olmuştu
in this
eğitim programıyla
committee work.
ilgili.
Unfortunately,
Uğur da
I don't
olsun,
have
Ferda da olsun.
many
Onlarla
other supporters.
zaman
Of course,
zaman
I always
buluşuyoruz,
collaborate
yemek
with Uğur
paslaşıyoruz sağ
and
olsunlar.
Ferda.
Ama
They are
benim
always helping
eksikliğim
me.
bu. Bir komite
But
oluşturamadım.
maybe this
Burada
is my
kısıtlı
mistake. I
şartlarım
could not
zamanla da
create a
yarışıyor.
very strong
Okuldaki
committee
ve diğer işlerle
because
ilgili
I, of course, have a lot
programlara,
of other
çalışmalara
work
zaman
going
ayırmakla
on in
ilgili.
my
Zaman buldukça
academia, in my
Asgardia'nın
profession.
eğitimlerini,
Of course,
çalışmalarını
as
takip ederek
far as I have
sosyal
time,
medyada da
I always
paylaşıyorum
follow up
çalışmaları.
activities,
Katkı
trainings
sağlamaya çalışıyorum,
of Asgardia. I
katılmaya
try to
çalışıyorum.
collaborate.
Umarım 10. yıl
I
hepimiz
try
için
not to break
hayırlı olur.
up
Hep
from
birlikte
Asgardia. I do
10.
my
yıl,
best.
ben de 10 yıldır
Hopefully, we
bu
will be,
organizasyon içerisinde
of course,
olmaktan mutluluk duyuyorum.
celebrating our 10th anniversary,
Devam etmek
and we will
istiyorum
be
çünkü
here many more
geçmişten
decades
bugüne kadar
because For a very long time, I have been involved in Asgardia, and there is a tremendous effort made by all the Asgardians in this long journey. And I would like to thank you so much once again for this great opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that comprehensive summary. Thank you all for your work, and very impressive. Quite a lot of presentations there. I will now take any questions or comments. No more presentations, no more presentations. Any questions or comments for John, Sabahattin, Ricky, Benedetto, or doesn't have to be.
Sağ olun başkan.
Thank you
Bize
very
yönelik
much,
herhangi
Mr.
bir
Chair.
eleştiri ya da tavsiye ya da
Well, I believe
beyan
there
olmadığını
is not
görüyorum.
much
Ben
comment or
Sebahattin'e
question
şunu
from
söylemek
the
istiyorum.
floor, but I
Teşekkür
just
ederim
want to
yaklaşım
add
için.
something to
Sebahattin'in ne zaman
Sabahattin's presentation.
örnek verdi benden ötürü. Uğur gibi, Uğur mantığıyla
Because he
davranıp
said
lisans
I would
almam
like to
gerekiyor dedi.
continue with the same
Şayet
logic of
Sebahattin'in
Ur and
lisans
receive
alınması
some
gereken bir
license
evrağı varsa
about his work.
ve bunu
So
Asgardia
I just want to
yapacaksa
say if he has
ben
such work,
Sebahattin'e buradan
if
açıkça
he's
teklif
ready,
ediyorum.
I'm here to
Mevzuata
help him.
uygunsa,
Of course, as
lisans
long as
yasamıza
it
uygunsa
is okay
Sebahattin'in
with the
evraklarını
legislation, with the
lisans onayını
guidance
vereceğim.
of Turkish laws,
Bu evrakları
I will of course
lisanslandıktan sonra
distribute that
Asgardia'nın
certificate
sitesinde
or give that certificate
paylaşabilirler Sayın
to
Başkan.
Sabahattin,
Sonuçta
and they can
bunların hepsi
share
artık
that certificate about
mevzuatımız
their
olduğu
work
için
on
yasal
Asgardia,
uygunluklar.
of course, if it is applicable and if
Bunu
it is
söyleyebilirim.
in compliance
Bunun
with the
haricinde
Asgardian
benim sunumumda
guidance
çok
or
fazla belki
regulations.
sohbet olduğu için konular kaçırılıyor olabilir.
Of course, sometimes you might be missing certain
Benim
topics,
sunumum
but
imalat
in my
komitesinden
presentation,
sevgili Benedetto'yu,
as you may
ticaret
remember,
komitesinden sevgili John'u,
I was also
iletişim
referring to John,
komitesinden sevgili
Benedetto,
Karl'ı,
and
vatandaşlık
Carl, and
komitesinden sevgili
also
Teresa'yı
to
ve
Teresa,
finans
and of
komitesinden
course
sevgili
to
Sarah'ı ilgilendiren
Sarah
konular. O yüzden
from many
kimlik
various committees that
kartlarımızın
they are representing.
geliştirilmesi,
So
mevcut kimlik
developing our
kartlarının
ID
geliştirilmesi,
cards,
bu çok
developing
önemli.
the existing or
Ayrıca
current ID cards
ekranda
is a very
gösterilen
important
önceki
topic
dönem
for all of
puan
us.
kazanma
And as I have shown you also on the
yöntemine
screen,
yönelme olabilir.
the
Bu
score
Sarah'la alakalı bir
gaining
konu.
or points gaining
Ayrıca
project is also very
çocuklarımızın
important. I think it's
web
relevant to Sarah.
sayfasında ebeveynler
And
üzerinden
also for
kayıt
the
yapılarak ki girdiğiniz zaman
children,
fikir sahibi olan şu anki
as
üyelerin
we
buradan
also
sisteme
right
dahil
now
olup
envisage
girsinler
that their
ve
parents can
kontrol etsinler.
receive ID cards for their
Aşağıda
children.
çocuk sayısı
So
hakkında
you
bir
as
bilgi
parents, if you are
göstereceğiz.
parents, of course,
Fakat
you can
çocukları
also
henüz
follow up that
üzerimize
option,
kayıt
that
edemiyoruz.
opportunity
Yıllardır
to
bu sorunla karşı karşıyayız Sayın Başkan.
and also this
Mümkün
has been a
rezidans sayısı
long-lasting
tekrar
problem
tekrar
that
ediyorum.
the
Kötü
resident
bunlar
number right now
yükselecektir.
can be
Çünkü
multiplied if
çocuklarınızın
we can
olduğu
also
tüm
add
sorumluluğu bize
our
aittir.
children
Yani ben
also
dört
in the system.
kiracıyım.
For
Ama
instance,
yine de
also giving them
çocuğum
ID
ben
cards. For
iki değil
instance,
aslında
I have
dört
two
kişiyim
kids.
rezidans sayısı olarak.
So as a resident, I'm
Söyleyeceklerim
actually not
Sayın
alone.
Başkan bunlar
I can
ekran
come here
başında
as a
bulunsun.
family. Maybe we can also
Dediğim
think
gibi
about an
Karl
option.
ve diğer
So I think that is also
işbirliklerden
relevant
besleyen
to Carl and
başkanlarımız
also
varsa
other
özellikle de
committee
Karl'ın
members
ismini
and hats.
zikretmemi de
I'm
belirtmek
repeating the
isterim.
name of Carl
Vatandaş
maybe over and over
sayısının
again because he's also
yükselmesiyle
thinking
ilgili
about increasing the
zannedersem
number of
Karl'ın
residents.
bazı
I think
çalışmaları
he has
olduğunu
very good
biliyorum ve
work
duydum.
on this in order
İşte
to
bu
increase the number
noktada
of
Karl'la
residents.
bazı
So
dosyalar
maybe we
sunabilirim
can
Sayın
share
Başkan.
some ideas
İşbirliği
with
yapalım.
Carl
Teşekkür
also
ederim
on an
tekrar
individual
söz
level
verdiğiniz
too. So
için.
thank you so much once again for the floor.
Thanks very much, Ura. Does anybody else want to make any other comments or questions? Okay. Great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for the contributions that you've made, and that concludes the work plans discussion for the committees. Very comprehensive. Quite a long session today. So that brings us to the end of that item. Now, I have got the voting results. Before we go into that, can I ask you if anyone had a specific priority act they want to propose? Now is the time to do it. You don't have to do it now. You can write to me, but I always keep this in case somebody wants to ask me to look at some specific legislation. Okay, good. We move on then. Thanks. Let me now get to the voting results. I can read. We're nearly finished now. The voting results are as follows. Just getting to the right screen. Okay, here are the voting results on the 4 items. 72 people registered. The agenda, the quorum count was 70 in favour and none against and 1 abstention, I think is correct. Yeah. So we were quorate, I'm glad to say. I'm happy to say. For the Asgardia Antarctic Act, 53 said yes, 9 said no, and 8 said they abstained. So it does go to 3rd reading, but it's obvious there will be more discussion about this in the organisation. And thank you for everyone who's been discussing it and all the contributions yesterday. The Asgardia Manufacturing and Industrial Corporation Framework Act, yes 65, no 2, and abstentions 3. So that gets to 3rd reading. So well done. And finally, Mr. Nigel Evans as Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs, yes 68, no nobody, and abstentions 3. So he gets to be Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs for those 5 months that we discussed. So well done, everyone, and thank you for all the debates. Let me therefore review what we've been doing. We started, as always, on day 1 with announcements and opening of the vote. On day 2, we had a very interesting government hour, which was really 2 hours. We had about a 3-hour debate on the Asgardia Antarctic Act 2nd reading, followed by a shorter debate on the Asgardia Manufacturing and Industrial Corporation Framework Act. After that, we had we also had the discussion about Nigel Evans, and he presented to you as well, as did the Prime Minister. In addition, we were blessed with a very impressive presentation by Cheryl Gallagher, the Minister for Culture. Today, we started with a brief discussion about UAPs. I'll come to you in a moment. UAPs, followed by a detailed report from the Legislative Merit Review Group, and that was John Fine. Then we've gone through the committees, and now we've just had the summing up of the votes. So we've fulfilled the work that we intended to do. It is quorate, and the votes count. Ura, you want to say something?
Evet Sayın Başkan. Konudan
Yes,
bağımsız.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, but
Ben bir e-posta almak istiyorum.
I just want to send you an email. I just wanted to ask you. Ariana, Linda, Cheryl will be also referenced there for the meeting in France. There are some points that I would like to share with you for the meeting in Nice. If you allow me, I will send you an email on this.
That'll be fine. I was going to mention that in the closing remarks anyway. Yes, please do send that to me. In fact, let me tell you in the closing remarks, a big thank you to all the team, my team and the Prime Minister's team, the administration team, and yourselves for all the work you've done. Rebecca also for broadcasting and fixing the problem. In terms of the Nice event, it's 11 till 13 October. So you have 2 nights of accommodation covered by Asgardia, or by Head of Nation, in fact. So arrive 11, leave on the 13th. You can stay longer, but you will need to pay for the extra days. The active work will be on the 12th primarily, mainly on the 12th, I think. Now, I've got to speak with the team to establish exactly what they've been told and what's going to happen. At the moment, my understanding is that it's just the accommodation and the breakfasts and the gala dinner on the 12th of October that Asgardia will cover, or the Head of Nation will cover. The flights, the travel would be yourselves, covered by yourselves. The rationale is because it's not mandatory to attend this. It's not a physical sitting. It is a voluntary event which you're invited to come to. So that's, I think, the rationale there. One more thing. Obviously, we hope to get some important people there who may support Asgardia, and they will be attending as well. So 11 to 13 October, accommodation will be covered for you. Travel, you need to cover yourself. Not mandatory that you come. And all of the really important things will happen on the 12th, all day on the 12th of October. Ricky.
Yes. Will the event be on Zoom also?
Yeah, it'll be
For
televised.
people that, okay, for people that won't be able to make it, but they do want to participate.
Yeah, the gala won't be televised. The day events, I will check again with the events organizer, but I believe that the day's events will be televised and they'll be live.
For working purposes.
Yeah, and also because some people may be interested in the event but don't want to come. It's a long way for you, Ricky. Philippines to Nice. Very long way.
Well, it's not so much that. It's just I'm getting ready to build a house and I gotta get some dental work done.
That's fine.
So that's gonna take up some money.
Oh, you don't have to come. Don't worry, you don't have to come. But the detail, I'm going to be speaking with the organizer just after this, in fact. So very happy to provide more information. And then you'll be given better details of what's happening and how it's all going to take place. So thank you very much, everybody. We really have done a lot of work, and the Asgardia Antarctica Act continues to be debated. It's not finished yet, but I would ask you all to share the same level of positive engagement as we have seen here. We have disagreements, obviously, but we did it with respect. And there'll be more work to be done on this too. Also, you will hear more about the mayoral elections in the week to come. But first, I have to follow up the documents for this and discuss with the events organizer the details for the Asgardia 10th anniversary in Nice, in France, which will also be the home of Asgardia. That's where the global headquarters of Asgardia will be based, in a physical building. Beautiful, huge physical building, which I think everyone will be proud of. If you don't go now, you'll certainly go in the future to see that building. So thank you. It's my honor always to be here. We've been working now since 1 o'clock, 5 hours. 5 o'clock. Yeah, we have been working for 5 hours, 4 hours, sorry. My correction there. And it's been very good, very productive. So thank you very much for everybody who's been involved. It's been a real pleasure to work with you. And at the end of the day, we've pushed Asgardia further forward. I'm just being advised, hang on, 15 times. It may have been 3 hours. I think it was a bit longer than that. But anyway, we're here now. So with that, I thank you all for being involved. As usual, if you'd like to join Asgardia as a resident, it's €100 per annum. And for that, you get all the rights of a resident. You can stand in the elections and you can be 100% involved. In the meantime, after the Asgardia National Anthem ends, we will close the broadcast. We got up to, well, clearly 72 people. So half of 72 will be when we can close the event, but we'll close the broadcast after this. So from that, with regard to all of that, I thank again the Head of Nation for creating Asgardia. Very grateful to him for his time at the Corfu Summit, and the work continues. We will see you all on Thursday as usual, business as usual then. More information about the Nice event, more information about the mayors. And with that, if we can play the national anthem, and when the anthem ends, I declare this sitting closed.